How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my Akhis and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Split Decision, episode 48. Today, I have a very, very special guest, the one we all been waiting on, Nicholas Asberry, the cheater buster. So I have Nicholas Asberry with me, so I'm going to go ahead and make him join the line. How you doing, Nicholas Asberry?
Hey, how you doing? How's you doing? How's everything
great? It's great having you on the show, man. It's been a long time. I've been waiting on this opportunity. I appreciate you being patient with me. You know, we had a lot of technical difficulties, but you stayed there with me. You hanged in there with me. And today we got two of America most wanted in the same place at the same damn time. How you doing, Nicholas Asberry?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Hey, yeah, you know, Nicholas Asberry, 9-1 as a pro. You know, 56-6 as an amateur, ranked number 5 in the U.S. Was Olympic hopeful to go to the London Olympics. Then ended up losing to Dominic Brazile and to qualify, and then went to start turn pro. And from there, stacked up my record to 9-0, and then recently just had a fight to a loss in 9-1, and now I'm getting back into things, training every day, which I have been already. I never actually stopped to put a pause or hold on anything. And to continue to go on. And I've been to a lot of different sparring camps because I represent Klitschko, Waldemar Klitschko style. So I got a lot of work in different camps from right when I turned pro. So I got to go to Brian Jennings' camp. I got to fight different fighters, whoever basically fought Klitschko. I was basically got that phone call to go to these different camps. And, you know, well, right now I train every day. You can follow my handles, and I train every day, and hard work and focus, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to lift some belts at the end of the day. So that's what we're all here for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's coming. So obviously, due to the Rona, boxing is not just returning thanks to the PBC. There's a huge boxing return. So do you have anything planned ahead? Because I know Rona been a setback for a lot of fighters. So do you have anything scheduled, or when are you looking to return into the ring?
Well, I'm looking to return to the ring as soon as possible. I'm already ready. I train with Montel Griffin. Of course, you know, he fought James Toney twice and beat him, and fought Roy Jones and got one of his strap from him. And
you know, so hopefully we're looking forward for that. You back. I lost you for the second, but you know, it's all goody. So like I said, you know, I appreciate you, Nicholas Asberry, because you always supported me. You know, you stayed there with me. We were supposed to have a show last week, but obviously I had my daughter and I had a little setback here and there. So I appreciate you hanging in there with me. And follow Nicholas Asberry on his IG. I'm going to leave it in the comment section below. So for the people that don't know, Nicholas Asberry was the first one to expose Tyson Fury for cheating. He was the one that busted him in sparring, tampering with his glove. So I got a question for you, Nicholas Asberry. How many times you sparred Tyson Fury? How many times you've been in his camp? Because I know you sparred with the likes of Klitschko and many more fighters. So can you please, you know, inform us on that?
Oh, well, I recently, well, not recently, but a while ago, right when I signed to a new management team, they said that Tyson Fury was getting ready to fight Klitschko. And randomly, when we're having a meeting, a guy named Eric Groves called. He had to hook up to over there in England. They're saying that they're looking for people with the Klitschko style. And I have sparred Brian Jennings, got Brian Jennings ready for the Klitschko fight. And people were saying he was predicted to get knocked out, and he did fairly well in the fight and held his own. And then, so that referenced me to go to the England. And so when I went to England, we went there for camp, of course. The first day, they just picked me up from the airport, introduced me to the locals and stuff like that, showed me around England. And then after that, the next day, I was in camp. I was there with Rico Van Hoven. It was me and Rico, and then we were the only two sparring partners there for Tyson Fury. We each did 5 rounds apiece with Tyson. He was overweight at the time. He was he was almost 300-some pounds. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was 300-something pounds because he always comes in overweight for his camps. And I didn't feel any punching power. I didn't feel any dynamic, any attribute that he could bring to the table that can throw me off. But he had good boxing skill, great boxing skill. He was a great boxer, used his distance and his length, and moved around the ring. But then we stayed in camp for weeks, and then the fight got postponed because Klitschko got injured, so I ended up staying out there for 3 months. So I sparred Tyson Fury every 3 days a week for 3 months straight, and we were training every single day. And Wednesdays off, sometimes Sundays off, but for the most part, I was around him all the time, around him when he's doing conditioning work, around him when he's doing other work. And so I got the gist of him. And this was during the time that supposedly heavyweight boxers are in their peak of their prime. So me sparring Tyson Fury in the peak of his prime, I didn't feel like there was anything to possibly outset him, like to make him, like to give him that extra oomph to say like this guy is the man, except for his boxing skill. His punching power is not great at all. His punching power was never great. And then when I stayed there for 3 months, and ended up getting to know locals there and getting to know different people and then getting to know people's output and input on Tyson Fury and stuff like that. And it's a lot of mixed reviews coming from there during that time, because he was talking about the whole his conspiracy theories that he had and stuff like that. And he was getting shunned out from a lot of different TV networks because the way he believed and the way he thought, like his thought processing, which automatically just changed now. But yeah, there was nothing there that shocked me about his punching attributes. It was just all like boxing skill. He would just tease and run around the ring all day, check the clock, and not stop moving and feint and jab all day. And staying in camp with him, I just yeah.
Yeah, so take me back to when you sparred Tyson Fury and first found out that he tampered with his glove. Can you please give me that, the story, uncut, the whole truth of what took place and how you found out Tyson Fury tampered with his glove in sparring?
All right, well, it all started when I was the first day we sparred. I did really, really well in the sparring, and well, let's go. Let's be honest. Like, let's if they're shitty people, we got to say. Okay, so I went to the camp. I flew to the camp, ended up landing. They picked me up from the airport in the middle of the night. Ben Davison and this other guy named Tim. That Ben Davison is Tyson Fury's trainer at the time. We were talking in the car. He was like, Tyson Fury says you're a good work, a great sparring partner, and a good friend. And I'm like, yeah, me and Tyson are like good people and stuff. And then this other guy, Timothy, was like, yeah, I've never seen this guy, Timothy, before. He just got added onto the team. So he was like, yeah, Tyson talks you up and stuff like that, says you're great work, and says you're up next. And a couple interviews, he also upped me and credited me. And so we get there, and he's like, we'll take you out for groceries tomorrow in the morning. That stuff didn't happen. They didn't take me out for groceries or any type of food or anything to get any food or fuel for the sparring session. But anyways, we end up going to Wild Card Gym, meeting up with Tyson Fury. We're getting ready to spar, and they hand me these big-ass, like, pillow gloves. I think they're called, like, the Paffin sport gloves or something like that. They hand me these big, like, pillowy gloves. I think they're 20 ounces almost. And then they were all very attentive to me and putting my gloves on and the gloves that they gave me and making sure, oh, yeah, does Nick have Vaseline on his gloves? Oh, yeah, Nick, is your gloves on right? Oh, yeah, Nick. They were like so on my gloves. It was like, damn, like you guys gave me these motherfuckers. Like these ain't even mine. And then we go in the ring and spar. And then basically it was like, the thing is with Tyson, like, if you're first, you like can beat him because he's always moving. He always likes to move to be first, the first to move. More movement. His style is like movement. His thing is movement because he doesn't have any punching power, so his style has to be movement because he has nothing to really dangerous so that'll keep you off you. That's why he moves like a crackhead in the ring. So like he just be moving around, shooting snot boogers, like flinching, twitching, looking at stuff, licking his tongue out, like just doing a bunch of weird stuff. And then so we get out there. I just start feinting him more. I feint him twice, double jab him out of position. Like I try to get him in 3 moves because he's defensive and he likes to weave and dip. So I threw a bull move out there to try to get him to react, and then did a double jab because it's not that much body weight behind it. Then I started coming with the fire, and then I get him out position, and then I was hitting him with certain shots, but he was sparring somebody else at the time. So when you spar somebody else and you come in to spar another new person, it's hard to try to get to adjust to that person. But even if still you're supposedly the guy, the heavyweight world undisputed champion, you're supposed to hold your own in any sparring partner during any time. So we spar, and then
he already warmed up. He should be on his rhythm already. So you basically saying you kind of got the best of him that day. So yeah, you could continue.
Yeah, I got the best of him. I hit him with 3 shots, and the Wilder hit him with a 1, 2, 3. If you can move out the way of like one shot, but as a heavyweight, you can't move out the way of 3 or 4 fast shots coming at you. Like you're not going to be able to move out the way of all that fire. And then Yeah, so he ended up getting hit. He ended up grabbing the ropes when I hit him while overhand right. He tried to escape, like feint me, and then like turn his shoulder and escape out. And I threw a wide overhand right. My arm was almost locked out straight because he's so tall. And I caught him on top of the head, and then he grabbed the ropes. And then they're like, "Yeah, that was a good sparring session. Blah blah blah. We'll get you another time." But then they say,
"Yeah, he gets you. He was about to get you. You're right."
Yeah. Surely I didn't know what was coming up next, but he was like, but they were talking about like they're saying, "Oh yeah, we'll see you next time." Freddie Roach said, "Oh yeah, that was his first day sparring or whatnot," and then I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." So so we end up. They say we're not going to spar for the rest of the week. This is on Wednesday. They say we're not going to spar for the rest of the week. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I don't even have to worry about sparring this week. So I just like let it go in my head, relax a little bit more, and then out of nowhere, then the next day in the morning, they text everybody in the house except for me and ask them, "Is Nick ready to fight?" And I'm like, what? Like, why didn't they text me? But let me mind you, they didn't even pay for my dinner that night. They didn't. When the boxer goes to camp of somebody who's a undisputed heavyweight champion, or even any camp, it's set out to where the boxer just goes there and worries about performing, not what he's going to eat, where he's going to stay at, where he's going to be, at what time, how he's going to get places, none of that. And all those stuff I had to worry about. So then the next morning with no food or nothing, they tell me like Tyson Fury wants to is Nick ready or whatever, and I'm like, oh man, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on? Blah blah blah. Like, why they texting everybody in the house and not telling me, am I ready? But I'm texting these people for food and they can't even text me back. And I'm like, okay. So we pull up to the gym, and then I don't know, like Tyson Fury, we pull up to the gym first, and then Tyson Fury and them try to come in the gym, and they try to sneak behind us and scare us. Didn't work. Because I don't know, something about like the British accent and smack talking. I don't like. It's not gully. Like there's nothing to freeze you up about it.
There's no spark to it. There's no spark
there's no like conviction. They don't even they don't even have guns up. Like there's no. And then so they try to scare us, and then we go inside. It's all mind games. Like that's all Tyson Fury is, a giant mind game. Because he has no power. He has to play games because, he has no power. He's been doing this style for years, But we went to go spar, and they were like all on my gloves, even more extra. They put so much Vaseline on my gloves, look like too lubed. I don't even know how to describe it, man. It looked weird. Like there was so much Vaseline on both of my gloves. It was stupid. And then we get in there, and they were like, Freddie Roach is gonna be your corner today. Mind you, the first time I sparred Tyson Fury, I had nobody in my corner telling me what to do. I just took what my coach. Me and my coach went over, and I said, I'm just gonna stick with this the whole entire time because this is gonna be a cakewalk because I got better. And I got better while Tyson Fury already peaked at his prime and already coming down the hill. Because if you take drugs away in access, and liquor and access, you don't peak no more. It's impossible to peak when he's been treating his body like shit. Let me tell you, you guys, people go about and want to talk about professional athletes eating healthy and doing healthy things for the lifestyle. Let me tell you, half of them don't. They just do shit and then take steroids, and that's a supplementation for hard work and dedication. But so we get it.
1,000%.
Yeah, we get in the ring, and then we start sparring, and then like Freddie Roach tells me he's like, you're faster than him, which I already like, whatever. You're faster than him. Just go in there and throw overhand right. He wanted me to fight like Deontay Wilder, but that's throwing overhand right against Tyson Fury when he was bending at the waist at that time to get ready for a Wilder. That only sets me up to get countered. So like I was just throwing overhand rights and missing. And and they had the first sparring session, they had it on video. And they were like, and you guys saw Ben Davis's breakdown. He's a pretty articulate man in breaking down stuff, which he also copied off of Barry Robinson's breakdowns and uses the same terminology when Joe Saunders was fighting David Lemieux. Talk about respect that man. If you go to the guy that commented on my thing after I made the post, Barry Robinson, he says that respect that man. That's one of his calls, and when we're in the corner. But anyways, so we're sparring, and then Tyson Fury he comes with a new game plan. Like he came out fired up today, like ready to he came out fired up, and then he came out. He feinted. He was feigning me out of position, and he switched to southpaw, and he dug a body shot into my left rib. And I've been hit to the body really hard, but it didn't the force, the amount of body weight behind the punch didn't change. Because I sparred Tyson Fury, let me remind you, 3 months, 3 days a week, some days 4 days a week. And that day he went 15 rounds, you could look at his Twitter handle and go through his Twitter history and saw how he was beating his ass. And then you could see how he was putting on makeup before interviews. So like I'm telling you, I got to see Tyson Fury when he was coming down from weight, from going into another camp and then going and peaking in a camp and coming back down. Like how NBA teams do when they're like on a roll, when it's like the NBA team, like this team cannot be stopped at this period of time because they're peaking. Well, a fighter has to peak every time before they fight. And like in training, because you could win or lose the fight in training too, because you could out-train yourself in the fight and overtrain. So I got to see Tyson Fury come up and go down, up and down, to a point where his like sugar levels were messed up, his blood levels were messed up and whatever. But we get in there, we're sparring, and I felt the punch, and it's like the same weight behind the punch, but it feels like, it feels like if somebody put one of those a stack of quarters in a sock and tied the sock and smacked you in the head with it. That's exactly how like it felt. I felt like a hard object just being trying to penetrate up in my ribs. And then after that, like I felt that, I was like, oh, okay, like it wasn't alarm, the punching force behind it wasn't alarming. So I wasn't like, oh yeah, that's a hard shot. Like it was just like, what the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what the hell? Like even if you watch Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder too, you see Wilder able to take a lot of those right hands that his glove was flapping around with, because Tyson Fury necessarily doesn't have no dangerous punching power. That was an accumulation over time of damage. And I felt it. I was like, damn, like I started going on defense. And then he did the same move again. He stayed in orthodox, feinted out and switched southpaw and hit me right on top of the left side of my temple. Because I'm an orthodox fighter. So I didn't switch my positioning. And I had my hand right on my, since I couldn't see him, since he disappeared, I lowered my torso and I stayed in a defensive type of position, tucked my chin and lifted my shoulders. And then he hit me right on top of the temple, and I was like, I just felt it was like ding, but like I wasn't wobbled or dazed, but like I was like, yo, this motherfucker hit me with some shit in his fucking glove, and bro, and then then the round is over. The round not after that last hit, but that was like ding, and then like a minute went by, then the round was over, and I get out and Showtime is all there, motherfucking ESPN is there, like everybody's there. I get out the ring, I'm like, bro, I'm like feeling my ribs, I'm like, man. Like the headshot hurt worse than the rib shot, but I felt like my ribs hurt when I got out the ring because adrenaline came down. When you spar, you're relaxed, you won't really feel shit. But when the adrenaline comes down, I was like, damn. And Tyson Fury's brother came up to me. He's like, "Oh, you cracked his ribs." I'm like, "Ha, funny, no, motherfucker." Like, Tyson's like, "No, I didn't crack his ribs. Just get on the bike." So we get on the bike, and I start like doing some stuff. I start doing the bike, and Tyson Fury's right next to me on the bike. So we're just riding on the bike. And I'm like, man, dude, like that shit, like that is not a bike ain't gonna fix this shit. Like, and then I'm like, I get up, and then we get on, and then one of his personal physical therapists, whatever, this other skinny, like lurch looking, they all look alike. They all look like a version of Tyson Fury. It's weird. But like he had me like stretch and pull, like he had me stretch and pull, do this stretch and pull to try to pull out my lats. Because they thought I stretched out my lat. And I'm like, bro, I didn't stretch out my lat. I'm like, bro, somebody hit me with some shit in my rib, bro. And then I go home, contact my manager. I'm like, bro, something is wrong and off. And then I ended up taking a shower. But when I was taking a shower, I was laying on the floor because I was all like fucked up. I didn't know, like I was like fucked up. Like my shit was hurting. And then
you felt the same force, but the effect was different. Like something was in the glove, or it's obvious the glove was clearly tampered with. Mm-hmm. Or you feel like there was probably like a metal in the glove, like the doctor said. Deontay Wilder doctor.
Yep. It was like I felt like an object, like a pin, because he don't hit that hard. Because it's not the force of the speed. Like people got to know. All right, like I'm about to take you to Isaac Newton. Force mass is force type mass acceleration, whatever the shit is. Like basically it was the same amount of force and acceleration, but it was a different object in the goddamn glove. And then like I get out, and then so then the next day we go. I get out of the shot. We start training. Like we're just training. This is just a training day because sparring is not going to happen. So we're just training. And then I was training with Barry Robinson. Oh yeah, and right before that sparring session, Tyson Fury and Lawrence Okolie were talking about hitting somebody in their temple and how there's no coming back from that. And then he tried to hit me in my fucking temple, but he hit me on the front, like my front skull plate, like the front skull plate. Thank God, because if he would have hit me in my temple, I'd have been even more fucked up. I'd have probably been trying to do that.
He hit Wilder, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he hit Wilder behind the ear. He's aiming for those kill points. He knows he knows that, you know what I'm saying? He don't have power. He has to place shot. You know, Deontay Wilder doesn't have to play shot. Deontay Wilder could let them things go and catch you one of them shits, you will be hurt. Tyson Fury, to get somebody to actually like tickle somebody, he would have to play shot. Like, so this dude, bro,
they basically gave him power. They created power for Tyson Fury. So you could continue.
Yeah, they basically ESPN wrote, people are getting behind Tyson Fury and just talking shit and not, you know, backing it up, saying Tyson Fury is some type of god power puncher and he has to prove that now in sparring or what to get confidence, or just because I was out there for 3 months and I know his systems, it could be like he can, like, shit hasn't changed with him. And I feel like he lost a step as a fighter. He didn't get better as a fighter. He lost a step. You don't do that stuff to your body and get better as a fighter. That shit does not happen. You do not do that shit as an athlete, like, let's use our brains, people. As an athlete, you do not do drugs and get better as an athlete. You don't do drugs for 10 plus years and get faster and stronger as an athlete. The shit doesn't work. And then on the top of that, he's in his late 30s. That shit don't happen.
And gain 150 pounds, then lose it in like a couple months.
Oh man, that's not even.
Yeah, the man had to take something to get that off, all that weight off.
Yeah, I mean, like, from what I know, he definitely before every camp he gains hella weight and has to take that stuff off, like Ricky Hatton. I don't know what's up with the pubs out there and stuff like that, where they can't stop drinking or whatnot, or doing drugs and doing like ecstasy and shit like that. But like, I don't know what's going on with that. But Tyson Fury.
After the shower, after you were taking a shower, you felt a lot of pain. Is that when you went to Tyson Fury locker room and found a tampered glove?
Yeah, that's when I had my what is that word called? I had my suspicions. There you go. It's because we were training, and I was like, Barry Robinson, we were doing these circle drills, and I had to go under Barry Robinson's hands. And then one time I went under his hands, and he hit me by the same, I went under his hands, and he hit me by like the same spot I got dazed at. And I went under his hand, and I came up, and it was like everything was all off. I was like, bro, see, no, that shit is fucked up. I was like, everything was wobbly when I got touched in my head. And I was like, nope. I was like, something's fucked up. So I went in the back. I remember Tyson Fury's dumbass. He said like, oh, we're gonna put our sparring gear together. It was the same day that the ESPN and all them people were there. And so I go there and go in the back, and I'm looking at my gloves. I'm like, damn, dude, I'm looking at my gloves. I'm looking at everybody's gloves in the back. I see Tyson Fury stuff. I'm like, I see his stuff, and I'm like, dude, this dude is open palm and stopping people. I'm like, so I grab his glove, and I'm like, and then the shit just starts falling out this motherfucking glove. You know, on cartoons when they grab like somebody's pants, like put them upside down, and just dangerous shit falls out their pockets. That's exactly how this shit was. And like, she just started falling out this motherfucker's glove, and then I was like this, and I was like literally like, and I go outside to the rest of the people to show Ben Davison. Brian Phillips was there too in camp. Lawrence Okoli was there. I go out there and show them, like, look at this. They're like, what in the fuck? And I don't know. Like, now I'm starting to have my discretions about Lawrence Okoli, because I don't know if he knew something about it already, because Anthony Joshua knows about this shit, and he's not saying shit. But him and Tyson Fury are getting ready to fight a 2-fight deal after he fights Wilder, which is kind of funny. If I spoil the pudding, oh well. But like, fucking, like, that's how, like, they're trying to like set up. Like, I felt like they were trying to set up. Like, I showed Lawrence Okoli, and like, he's like, oh, I'm getting on the phone talking with Anthony Joshua. Now, let me mind you, if you think the great Anthony Joshua knows about this shit, because Lawrence Okoli's he's managed by Lawrence Okoli's managed by Anthony Joshua, and he called him right in front of me. And then Anthony Joshua knows about this shit, but he ain't saying shit. But him and Tyson Fury getting ready to fight a 2-fight deal. So I guess Tyson Fury's just coming over to U.S. and just fucking people up. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking fighters up.
Remember Anthony Joshua offered to spar Tyson Fury to get him prepared for Deontay Wilder. He personally didn't like Deontay Wilder's style. He felt like Wilder has his kryptonite, because that power, you just can't prepare for it when you get cracked. So he kind of wanted Tyson Fury to clean up that mess, and then they go fight. And when he fights Tyson Fury, he knows that he not going to let Tyson Fury use them gloves in particular. Because, you know, Eddie Hearn came out claiming that he don't believe the glove gate. It's just a bunch of rubbish. Well, if you do, how about you allow Tyson Fury to use them same gloves that look tampered that Tyson Fury used against Deontay Wilder, if it's true. But I know he won't, because he obviously have Anthony Joshua's best interest, and he will do everything in his power not to allow Tyson Fury to tamper with his glove. But it's funny you say that, because Anthony Joshua is acting like, you know, Tyson Fury is the most innocent man in the world when we know his background. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about his track record. So I'm glad you revealed that to the public, that Anthony Joshua is aware of Tyson Fury tampering with his gloves and sparring.
100%, 100,050%. Anthony Joshua knows that Tyson Fury tampered with his gloves in sparring. And then after that, I talked to I'm having a conversation. I'm like, man, fuck this shit. I'm like, we don't call Ben right away. We just all make videos. We all make videos with the gloves. Like, and I don't know why Lawrence Okolie didn't drop his video, but we all made videos with the gloves saying like, oh yeah, like these fucked up ass gloves of Tyson Fury and shit like that. And then after that happens, call Ben. Ben's like, what are you talking about? The gloves are tampered with. And mind you, I still don't have fucking food. This is like day 3, day 4, day 3 or some shit. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, man, like, and they still like, and I'm sparring this man, training with them, and they still don't pay me. And then I'm like, yo, bro, yeah, these gloves are fucked up. I'm going home. Like, no, what are you talking about? You're speaking rubbish. You think we tamper with gloves? I'm like, at first, I'm like, no, you guys, I don't want to be. You know, I still want my money, but I was like, you know, y'all didn't really tamper with it, whatever. Tyson Fury, some horrible work. Deontay Wilder's going to knock his ass out. But I didn't say all that. But I was like, you know, like, can I get my money at least or whatever? Like, because I'm about to leave. And they're like, oh, no, we didn't tamper with the gloves. And then I'm like, then in my head, I'm like, fuck it, just tell them. Like, you guys fuck with these fucking gloves, because ain't no way in hell I put on gloves all my life. Like, I've been boxing for 10 years. I haven't even been boxing for as long as Tyson Fury's been boxing, but I know if I put on a pair of gloves that are flip-floppy, I know when I put on a pair of gloves that are fucked up, because I know when I need to buy a new pair of gloves when basically they're fucked up. And so these gloves had no padding in them, and I was like, you guys took out the padding. There was literally, like, I took the laces, the Prolocks, I opened them all the way up, and I saw there was like a slit inside there, and then you could put your whole hand in there, and then there was like a little pocket in there. And then I went to the another green gloves inside there, the gloves that Isaac Lowe was using. I dumped his gloves out, and an egg weight fell out the motherfucker. I didn't even know what an egg weight was at the time. I like saw this. I was like, dude, what the fuck is this, bro? I was like, what is these niggas do? Like, bro, I was like, dude, it was like an egg weight with like, it was wrapped in like rubber, so you could like slide your fingers in it or whatever. I was like, dude, what? I never seen none. I was like, dude, this is illegal. So I was like, bro, what is this? And they were like, damn. Like Brian Phillips and all everybody, they just start laughing. They're like, I can't believe this. And then come to find out, Isaac Lowe, whatever his name's fighter too, Ben Davison's fighter, Isaac Lowe was sparring kids with like 14. He was sparring amateurs with 14-ounce gloves. Isaac Lowe's a pro with like 15 fights. It's sparring, and he was getting his ass whooped. It's like, it's like, okay, at least if you're gonna have 14-ounce gloves sparring people, at least in their amateur, at least, you know what I'm saying, he was getting his ass beat like he wasn't, like it's like goddamn. And then
it's official. Tyson Fury is the cheater of the century. I mean, the man. Oh yeah. You know, yeah. We know the gloves was clearly tampered with, but now we got to worry about if there's metal in the glove, if there's an object in the glove. Because one thing for sure, you do not gain power overnight. You, Nicholas Asberry, obviously, you spar Tyson Fury on more than one occasion. And all of a sudden, he just gains power out of nowhere. You spar him daily. You know how his power feels. And one day, one night, obviously, you feel all that pain, like there was something in the glove. Forget the glove being tampered with. It felt like there was an object in the glove. So, again, we have a witness, which is you, of course, and we got doctors co-signing this. And these decafs and old media still trying to cover up for Tyson Fury because he has the best hope insurance in the world since he got the complexion for the protection. I mean, Tyson Fury, his hope insurance is better than Geico. But go ahead. Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to just mention
No, it's all good, man. People need to hear and know what's up with like why certain athletes get put on this pedestal amongst athletes that work hard as hell every day. For example, I know it's good for the culture, but like YouTube boxers, they haven't fought a day in their fucking life, and now they're checking millions of dollars like their first pro debut. And while we are sitting here, while the people that you know locally are struggling to box, you guys are giving people who already got the bag the bag, you know, not the people
Right.
who are actually really good, the bag. You guys are making less entertaining fights for yourselves. But regardless of anything, I sparred Tyson Fury for a long time, like you said. And even when we were in England, I didn't even notice this. But this motherfucker was cheating over there. He was I was watching BBC Network just posted this fight camp for Klitschko, and he was talking about like cheating. He's like, yeah, he was talking about cheating while he was taking off his gloves, and pieces of his gloves are coming off. And they were the new winning gloves. And then I talked to my one of my homies that was over there in camp. I don't want to give out his name, but he was over there in camp, and he's like, yeah, Tyson was cheating. He was pulling out his glove to get extra length for his jab, but he didn't have anything in his glove. His gloves had no laces in them either. His gloves had no laces, so he was able to slide them, pull them out, and slide them back in. And so just for extra length. But this time, when we got ready for the Wilder fight, he was trying to hurt somebody. Just like Wilder, he was trying to hurt somebody. He stuck metal in his gloves. And to talk more about Isaac Lowe and the correlation, okay, Ben Davidson's also Billy Joe Saunders' trainer. Billy Joe Saunders is also Tyson Fury's boy. Let me mind you, always gets caught with steroids. They both got caught with steroids together. Let me mind you, he talks about beating women. Let me mind you, they all go out and do the weirdest shit and the most evil shit that you can imagine and want to come to the public eye and lie to people. This is one guy, and this is one guy. This is all his different fighters that he has. So, and let me tell you, like, if you put the pieces of the puzzle together, and you guys are wondering probably, like, why did he fire Ben Davison after his fight with him? Because he got exposed. He's trying to move on to a different style, but he's saying Ben Davison changed his life. And Tyson Fury has interviews where he's like, oh, I'm not changing trainers no more. But now he's switching trainers he has a new corner every single goddamn fight in America. Because if you guys want to talk about loyalty to boxing and what boxing means, blood, sweat, and tears, the whole Rocky Balboa story, but you guys are sitting here that this guy doesn't even stay loyal to the people who started him off, and that this guy said he ate tampered boar meat, and this guy vacated his license so he couldn't be investigated, and now that this fight is about to be over for the third fight contract, that he's going to go over to England and fight Anthony Joshua, who knew that his gloves were clearly tampered with. Twice he's gonna fight. He's signing a 2-fight deal with Anthony Joshua. They're about to go over there and have English muffins and pitter pat over there. That's what the hell they're gonna do. And while Tyson Fury thinks he's gonna come over here and beat up American fighters, they'd rather have a white, as I said, they'd rather have a Caucasian gypsy as our champion than a black man, which is sad.
A foreigner. That's the crazy part. They rather have a foreigner as a champion, as long as he got the complexion for the protection, than a fighter on the coincidental list that's from the United States. That's crazy. They will set up their own people. That's crazy. But I just want to add on to that because you talked about, I think his name was Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders actually got busted for steroids around the same time Tyson Fury lost all that weight. For the people that's not informed, Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to fight Andre, and out of nowhere, he get busted for steroids that supposedly leave your system in 24 hours. So if Tyson Fury, his best friend, is Billy Joe Saunders, how we know that he didn't cheat? How we know he wasn't taking steroids to lose all that weight? Because like you said, Nicholas Asberry, Tyson Fury lost all that weight out of nowhere, and you don't peak right after you take drugs, you take cocaine, you drink, and you gain 150 pounds, let alone lose all that weight in 3 months, period. That just doesn't happen in the sport of boxing. As an athlete, where you competing against athletes that never drink, that never smoke, that take care of their body. But one way you can do that is by taking supplements, is by taking steroids. And we already know Tyson Fury got busted for steroids in the past and blamed it on a wild boar. So we're gonna touch on that. But I just want to inform the public on that. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And like to add, I mean that was pretty much it. But that's the proof is already there. But to say things more of evidence, if you want to use your independent brain to leak things together, like what Tyson Fury is doing here he hasn't been caught cheating with the same left hand one time. He's literally been caught on TV cheating with it before during a fight, and he's tested positive for steroids. If you want your kids to look up to somebody like that and be like, oh yeah, that's but you guys will want to buy into that, buy his books and buy his merchandise and say this is a great guy, but you guys won't talk about Deontay Wilder, how he's growing up in America. You know, one of the 5 leading causes of death in America is being shot by a police as a black man, and this man is world champion. You guys are trying to say and he doesn't get praised around here. Tyson Fury's like, yeah, who knows him around here? Blah, 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 blah. I blame that on American media of the reason why Deontay Wilder should be a household name everywhere, even though he is, but subconsciously some people don't want to accept it, and it needs to be accepted.
That's a great point, because he is a star, like you said, but they don't want to accept it. See, the thing is, Forbes came out with a list last year that Deontay Wilder was the most popular boxer that's active right now. The reason why is because every time he knocks his opponent out, it goes viral, right? But they don't want to give Deontay Wilder his credit. And then the crazy part about it is, like you said earlier, they set him up to lose to a foreigner by allowing the foreigner to cheat on our own soil in the United States. That's just what fighters on the coincidental list been facing, is double standards for years, and they still facing it to this day, and it just won't stop. So adding on to that, because there was this coach that I follow. He's a great boxing coach, and he came out and made these comments. So I want you to clear up who's this coach, and let me just give you his quote. Give me a second.
All right.
So get great at boxing. He stated this was one of the dirtiest things I have ever seen in this industry. Boxing sucks. The sport is beautiful. The industry sucks. The day you left, I actually flipped on them in sparring. Ben apologized and asked me to quiet down. Tyson was cool. He knew they were wrong. I don't believe it was his decision. They were trying to hurt sparring partners so he could gain confidence. They changed the gloves the next day. He responded to the footage you posted on your Instagram exposing Tyson Fury for tampering with his gloves during sparring, because what he do is cheat in sparring and then execute fight night. So this is something he perfected over time. So who is this trainer, and how you relate to him? Is he your coach, et cetera, et cetera? Can you please inform us on that?
Well, his name is Barry Robinson. Everybody calls him coach. He's internationally known in almost every fighting sport, every fighting from Pride to shoot boxing, kickboxing, Fight Fx gym in Thailand. He's probably like the only coaches who could go there and do pad work who's allowed to do pad work in those sacred gyms, the Muay Thai spiritual gyms. And Barry Robinson was actually the dude. He was Lawrence Okolie's trainer there. I didn't actually know who he was at the time, but then when I got to know who he was, I got to know how popular he was. It was like phenomenal. And he's like a developmental coach. Like, you know how there's I think the guy's name is Matt Atkins of the NBA, who like in the footwork king for football. Like, he's the dude who just like takes the intangibles of you, like the little intricate things, like attention to detail, and he alters you. And he fixes you, or like he'll help you, and he trains you how to fight in southpaw. Like a lot of things that Coach Ben Davison was saying when he did the breakdown, everybody was giving him credit. A lot of those things were what Coach Barry Robinson was first saying and doing. And
he's a great coach. I saw his stuff that you're talking about, and I used to follow him actually on YouTube, but his channel got deleted for some reason. But man, he was breaking it down every minute, every single second of every round. So what he was talking about, Tyson Fury Tampered glove. So he actually fussed out Tyson Fury team.
Yeah. So he was Lawrence Okolie's coach there. They told me Lawrence Okolie had a coach, and Barry Robinson was his coach, because Lawrence Okolie wasn't a fighter for that long. He hasn't been a boxer for that long, actually. He's had a quick career, and so he needed some help to help him like get ahead of the curve. And Coach Barry's a perfect guy to do it. He helped me out a lot too. If anybody any recommendations for Coach Barry, man, he's the man. His stuff's on a new level. But so he got me. He saw it. He was there, and he was like, man, this shit is not right. This shit is fucked up. He was like, see, your management is supposed to be. He was telling us our management is supposed to protect us. And then he had Lawrence Okolie call his management, which is Anthony Joshua, and he was talking to him while we were there on the phone. And he was like, yeah, AJ's gonna handle this, and talk to him and whatnot. Wow. And so, like, they know, AJ and all them, they know exactly what the fuck happened. And then Lawrence Okolie was just I don't even like that dude. I hope he moves up to heavyweight so I can fuck his ass up. I hope he moves up to heavyweight so I can fuck his ass up. I said again, I hope Lawrence Okolie moves up to heavyweight so I can fuck his ass up.
They don't have no integrity. How you
Man.
allow a man like Tyson Fury to cheat and you know about it and you don't put it on the surface?
Because they coons, man. I got to make an example out of these coons, man. They sitting here working they're cooning out here, man. They sitting here working. And then, you know, when I talked about taking that temple shot in the head, how Tyson Fury was telling me, oh, yeah, there's no coming back. Lawrence Akhi was sitting right next to him like, yeah, mate, there's no coming back. Like, on his nuts, man. Get the fuck. Like, dude, bro. Like, I want to slap the shit out that dude. But Coach Barry Robinson basically saw that happen and was like, but he got on the ringer with them. He was like, yo, this guy, hey, this shit is wrong. I see this shit. And the next day, I left. And so I left right away. And the next day, because they were trying to, I don't know if they were motherfuckers trying to take me out or whatnot. I don't know what the hell is going on. So I left because I wasn't even eating. And then I had to pay for all my shit too, all my plane tickets and all that shit. And so we he was there the next day, and then Coach Barry tells me, like, yeah, dude, they fucked up, man. Like, and then I just keep on going over shit with Coach Barry because Coach Barry's like the only honest guy there. And he was like, I kept on talking to him. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what to expect from this. I wouldn't even like talk to him first, make sure you get your pay. And then I talked to Ben. He said he was gonna pay me. I was like, man, fuck the shit. I won't even say shit about the gloves. Just pay me what you fucking owe me. I don't even know. I just pay me what you owe me just for what we contracted for the camp. That he didn't even do that. Like I waited. Oh, replying back to a story. All this was over Instagram. We negotiated all this over Instagram. So like I'm sitting here like hitting him up, trying to talk to him. He's just ignoring me. And I'm like, dude. And it's finally coming on. I think the second fight. After the first fight, the second fight. And I was like, man, fuck this shit. I was like, Tyson Fury fucking took padding out his gloves. I'm telling the whole fucking world. So like, because he didn't pay me, he didn't do shit. I wasn't even gonna say. I just want the money that was owed to me, and that's in a text thread that I sent to Ben Davison. And Coach Barry saw that. We talked about it. Coach Barry's like, you're not in the wrong for it, and I support you 100%. What the fuck they did in that ring, and he's been all over the world in fighting sports. You could go on his page and look the type of people that are following him. Look at the fighters that are following him. He might not have it might not be a big foot, but look at the motherfucker. It's all quality fighters.
He 1000% reliable. I mean, that man is a genius when it comes to martial art. I watch him all the time to study the game. So we got coaches, we got doctors, we got witnesses, which is you, obviously. Yeah. And we have victims, which is Joey Spencer. He talked about somebody that utilized the same cheating tactics against him in the amateurs and many more. And old media is still trying to cover up for Tyson Fury, regardless of all the evidence that we got on the table. So with that being stated, did Nicholas, did the coach do anything after that?
He basically ended up finishing out camp because they ended up changing gloves. I got confirmation from him that they traded gloves, and I got confirmation from Brian Phillips on through text that they traded gloves also, that they have a new pair of gloves. And we got a new pair of gloves. I fucking bet. But something inside me said I should have waited around and been like, hey, what the fuck? And did it right then and recorded it right then. But I didn't, because I didn't even fucking get no fucking food. I was tripping. I'm hangry. Yeah. I almost had to go. I had to some shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there sparring the undisputed world champion on an empty stomach, sitting there pounding his face in. You know what I'm saying? And then now they're sitting here cheating and shit like that. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here, whatever. And then different coaches start coming up talking about this shit, and other people. I mean,
it's all about timing. It's all about timing. Yeah, but at the same time, I don't care what you would have done, they would have still have covered up for this man. I mean, the man took steroid in the past, and they break down, and they said that, he coming off a depression story and all that. So we already know he got the complexion for the protection at the end of the day. But I find it interesting what the coach said, because Barry, I believe his name is, right? You said?
Yeah, Barry Robinson.
Barry Robinson. See, the thing he said on your IG, he stated that when he fussed them out, they said that, oh man, we try to give Tyson Fury courage, we try to give him power. So all that confidence is pretty much fake. He let you know all that confidence is fake. They have to give this man power. They had to create power for this man, for him to gain confidence and gain cojones, because he stay eating that wild boar that's not allowing his cojones to grow. So when we take steroids, obviously the wild boar was just the excuse, but when you take steroids, we know what's the effect of that. It don't allow your cojones to grow. So Tyson Fury doesn't have the cojones to fight the top fighters on an even playing field. That's why he looked like crap when he fights the Wallens of the world, or even before the guy he fought before Klitschko. And then when he faces these guys like Klitschko and Deontay Wilder, that's on top of their game, that don't cheat, that rely on hard work and dedication, Tyson Fury resort to cheating. And because he got the complexion for the protection, he got the best hope insurance in the world. He got the whole old media in his pocket. Obviously, they're going to cover up for him, as they are covering up for him to this day. But that's why new media, we doing our job exposing Tyson Fury. So I'm glad you exposed Tyson Fury, because you were the first one that did so. So yeah, you could continue.
Oh, okay, yeah, but yeah, I mean, like with all these sports and stuff like that, and like even with inventions, you know, Thomas Edison wasn't the first person to discover electricity. You know, it was his slave. You think Thomas Edison was going to run out there with a kite and risk himself getting electrocuted? No, he looked around his little field and was like, let me get the fastest one out here. He grabbed the fastest one and told him to run with a kite and get electrocuted, and then he takes credit for everything. This thing that America has, where they take credit for shit that somebody else did, or they patent ideas. Because let me remind you, Europe was a place where they patent things. They didn't like really necessarily invent that much stuff. All the inventions came from the places of natural resources like Africa and like over there in the Middle East, and like pyramids that they still don't even know how were built. You know what I'm saying? So like these things happen all the time. It's been happening throughout history, and these things have been accepted by people. These things, and then when people want to speak up and talk about it, what do they do at award shows when people want to speak the truth? I'm not saying do a Kanye West and Taylor Swift thing. I'm saying do something outrageous, or saying something like the truth. They just, cut the commercial quick. And what do you do in your head when somebody starts saying the truth? Or let me even refer to this in 8 Mile and Eminem. That one brother that with the glasses that was all talking about the burning buildings and stuff, spitting knowledge to everybody. And they're like, man, shut that shit up, conspiracy brother. Every time somebody speaks with wisdom and knowledge, they get shut down. And then that's something that they want you to think and want you to become a habit of.
And then it's not conspiracy, because we know we got evidence, we got photos. See, people lie, women lie, men lie. However, your eyes don't lie. And there's footages of Tyson Fury tampered glove. The footages you provided. And if they don't want to trust you, even though you done pointed out there was a coach there that's 1,000% reliable and all of the above, you could clearly see Tyson Fury own glove he was wearing. You could see his fist on the left hand, his fist on the palm area in the first fight. And in the second fight, you could see the right glove was clearly tampered with, because you could clearly see his knuckles. And even doctors co-signing the fact that Tyson Fury had something in his glove, or definitely removed glove padding, because he was causing type of damage that can't bend the skull. You cannot bend someone's skull with a 10-ounce heavyweight gloves on. That's why you wear a 10-ounce heavyweight glove, right? So they want to dispute the fact, because you can't go against the truth. When the truth is spoken, the other side is nothing but a lie. So because they can't go against the truth, they want to deflect. And somebody on the chat, his name is Javon Green. He threw a super chat. He said, which gloves are missing, the first or second fight? So I'm going to make it clear, because, see, that's what they like to do. They like to deflect, just like that guy on the Jeff Mayweather channel, the TMT channel. Jeff Mayweather said that he thought Tyson Fury cheated. It looked like Tyson Fury didn't have his hand all the way in the glove. But see, this was around the time when we were talking about Glovegate 2.0. See, Glovegate 1 was when Tyson Fury didn't put his hand all the way in the glove, right? So we exposed Tyson Fury for that. Then the decafs was like, oh, well, Tyson Fury, he hurt Deontay Wilder in the second fight with his right hand. It was in his left hand. But ironically enough, they got exactly what they asked for, because we found out, because of footages, a photographer that took pictures for Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao, Canelo, and many more fighters. He put up footages that nobody saw. They were sent to me, but I looked the footages, right? The footage showed Tyson Fury right glove was clearly tampered with. Like the glove there was padding removed from the glove. So again, they want to deflect. They want to act like they're confused when we already broke it down where a second grader know what we talking about. But that's all they could do is deflect, because they cannot face the truth. So again, for the first fight, obviously it was clear as day that Tyson Fury didn't have his hand all the way in the glove. even saw Eric Spence retweeting it to Max Kellerman and
100%.
ESPN. In the second fight, we got to worry about the left hand and also the right hand, because the right hand, it was clearly tampered with. The glove, it was either they had padding removed from it, or a blunt object. So, like I said, they just don't want to hear the truth because they can't face the truth. Yeah. You know, they want to act like Stevie Wonder. Oh, we can't see, because they claim that the photo of Tyson Fury right hand glove, it was Photoshop. Then it comes to find out that the photo was real. Since the photo is real, that debunked exactly what they said. They pretty much told on themselves. They admitted that Tyson Fury cheated.
They said it was Photoshop. The photographer was like, no. It was like, damn. We done told ourselves. They sitting there not knowing what to come up with. That shit is
That's
crazy.
What I'm saying.
All this shit, and I got evidence of even when the Christian Hammer fight, this motherfucker had his. You don't sign a fight, like there's no fight on TV where you have these gloves that automatically have detached thumbs. Like that shit is crazy. He fought Christian Hammer with a detached thumb in his glove, and he took steroids versus Christian Hammer. Not even like a top fight, Christian Hammer. Not even the Christian Southpaw overweight Hammer. That's who the fuck he fought. And he had to tamper with his gloves to fight, and he took steroids. And people were like, and I still see they use it as a highlight. Don't even use Christian Hammer as a highlight when this motherfucker was on steroids. Because now you're saying that it's okay to cheat. It's not okay to cheat, especially with a sport that has to deal with people's lives. This sport is important to people's. Let me tell you, boxing helps a lot of people become a better person. Regardless of anything, everybody that, even if people go to a title boxing gym, even if people don't even want the sport, people watch the movie Rocky and get spiritually involved because it helps you become a better person. It helps you get motivated through something that you grew up with in distress, but it makes you be able to turn a negative into a positive. And these people are trying to flip these stories and try to use these different narratives to try to get you guys to think opposite, when all the proof is actually right there. And if you hold them accountable, since they're your champion, hold them accountable to what they say and what they do. Because you guys don't want to hold people accountable to what they say or what they do if you always think they're right. Now, if you know somebody's wrong, hey, we know they're going to be wrong. Hey, we know that person's going to be evil. But no, we assume that Tyson Fury got put in the light as some proud puncher, as some mentally distressed guy, as some guy that comes up from the bottom, as some fight from the dirt type of story. Now all of a sudden he's some type of like hero in your eyes. But in all actuality, if you look at the facts of what he's been doing, he's been cheating his whole fucking career. And we need to stop accepting toxic, poisonous things as our culture's leaders. Because you guys can't want better for humans. You guys can't look your kids in the eye and say Tyson Fury is some great person because he cheated in sport where it has to do with people's lives.
On more than one occasion. He cheated on more than one occasion. And let me ask you this question, right? Because Tyson Fury, like you stated, Tyson Fury failed for steroids in the past. He failed two drug tests. He was tested positive. Then he blamed it on the wild boar because there was steroids in his system, right? So we're going to talk later on about the farmer he threatened because he obviously paid the farmer to lie in court. Careful, who sticked his foot 6 feet deep in Tyson Fury a-hole. So Tyson Fury, they want to claim that he's off the juice. But how we know if he's off the juice or not? Because the WBC increased the computeral limit a fighter could have in his system.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
So is Tyson Fury off the juice? Or is he still on the juice? We really don't know. What's your take on that?
We don't, man, like with these things and these nobody knows who these doping agencies are. I don't fucking know who they are. Nobody knows. And that's not even to go to show, like, let's say, for example, your guy's local fighter. Everybody thinks a fight is like within the top 10. Like everybody, okay, for example, ooh, this is good. Okay, so they want to say Lomachenko has like 3 fights and fights on the top. And everybody says, hey, why can't every boxer just go for a championship fight when they first come out? That's not possible. Every fighter, when you first start boxing, you don't make that type of money. And there's no drug agencies. It's just a mixture of everybody. There's no union, no nothing. It's just a mixture of everybody fighting with steroids and cheating. And then they just pick and choose certain people they want to be protected to get to the top. Mostly if you have the complexion for the protection, like my man said, then you're going to get the negotiator route to the top. Just look at Chicago. Most of Chicago has great black fighters, but most of the fighters that get praised in Chicago are white fighters. They're not even that good. It's like the same thing to go to show for every other state too. So when that goes instead, like for example, Montel Griffin fought James Toney. I think Montel only had 14 fights at the time, and James Toney moved up to light heavyweight. But then Montel doesn't get praised like Lomachenko does. But he fought James Toney. He fought James Toney with only like 7 fights, and Lomachenko fought Orlito Solis. Orlito Solis, the dude that drives Ubers, he fought him with 3 fights, and now he's sitting there praying. They call him the Matrix, all types of shit. And they do the same thing with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's getting compared to like some great god. Like he got compared to Ali. If y'all, man, the amount of like the disrespect, the white people can't say, white people cannot compare any other fighter to Ali, period, because he didn't represent your people like that. He didn't represent America like that. He didn't do that. You can't compare him and Tyson Fury to be in the same category. He sat for 4 years. He sat for 4 years just to fight for something that he believed was right, and then what you guys were telling him was wrong. Tyson Fury sat for 4 years because he did too much cocaine.
And took steroids and got suspended for it, then threatened a 70-year-old farmer. Right. Yeah, and they try to cover that story up. They try to cover that story up by claiming that he was coming off depression, this and that. Oh, and they sold the story of Tyson Fury being a hero when the man cheated and was doing cocaine and taking steroids, taking shortcuts to success, while other fighters got to get out of the mud, like Deontay Wilder and many more. So you cannot be a great. You can't be in that realm of greatness if you cheat and take steroids and tamper with your glove. You cheat on more than one occasion, and you want to rank this guy as one of the greats? Absolutely not. This man don't even have the cojones to fight a fair fight without cheating. And you all trying to make him as this great white hope. But again, they try to create a Rocky in real life, because see, Rocky is just a movie. So we never had a Rocky in real life, but when, obviously when they saw Tyson Fury, they saw an opportunity. Bob Arum came out stating that Tyson Fury is like a heavyweight Superman. He said that Tyson Fury is not better than Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko, but the reason he got this big ass deal on ESPN is because he's like a Superman, because he saw Rocky Balboa that they could create in real life. They gave this man power. They created power for this man. They gave this man confidence, just like, the coach that was in the camp that told and went off on Tyson Fury team for allowing him to tamper with his glove during sparring, and they simply responded by stating, well, listen, man, we try to create and give this man courage and confidence, because all that confidence is pretty much fake. Yep, no doubt. All of it is fake confidence for him to try to let his hands go even more, but he still won't be able to hurt somebody. Like, because boxing is like you train your body so hard to get your mind and your body separated from each other. It's almost like a third person type of ordeal. And Tyson Fury obviously doesn't work that hard when it comes to training. He's always like like you said with the mental health thing. He tried to, because right now mental health is a big thing, because we don't live in an industrial era no more. We live in a communicative era. We live in an era as like who's talking the best and who's doing most. That's why we got a lot of do it for the gram motherfuckers out there. And so like Tyson Fury basically didn't put in that work, because he's always overweight before camps. But they try to use that as a narrative. Oh, he's too heavy because he's mentally depressed. Now let's watch him come down in weight and have like a online success story. It's the same thing as those commercials that come on at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're half dead tired. Are you tired of being fat? Are you tired of looking like, well, you can look like me in the next 2 weeks? Like, there's the inspirational fitness story behind it. Now Tyson Fury got like a Bowflex class out. Now he's always doing fitness shit. It's like these things that they set themselves up for, but people didn't look at their history of the facts. People didn't look up the history of what they're doing. If people look up the history of Tyson Fury and these other coaches and trainers in boxing, you'll get to know this, but it doesn't get looked at because it doesn't have that mainstream attention that it needs. It doesn't have, like, we're not exposing
They like look at Jeff Epstein. Look at all this shit with the Hollywood. Look at all this shit with the pedophiles. Tyson Fury is Hollywood. He's accepted in Hollywood. He's in WWE. They love him out there. He's more Hollywood than it gets. His training camp was in fucking Hollywood. That's all he does. His hidden location was in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? So this is like he's protected by people in Hollywood. Rich investors gave him a house in Hollywood to have so he could train there. And Hollywood's getting exposed now for all the Jeff Epstein stuff and sex trafficking. And you guys think that even an ounce of this nasty shit, these cover-ups, that Tyson Fury wouldn't have a finger in something to do with all this shit? Like, man, this is the same thing with these fake propaganda and these fake people on top. And Tyson Fury got kicked off of they said HBO that was going to be his last fight because Tyson Fury said when pedophilia becomes legal, when pedophilia becomes legal, when being gay, when transgender becomes normalized, and he said something else. He's like, that's when the world will be coming to a rapture. And then HBO kicked him off set. But now he's getting hired on with somebody else because of what? Because the narrative that he's selling to people, and because they're tired of seeing Deontay Wilder as champion. They're tired of seeing, like, let me tell you guys, like Joe Louis had to sign contracts just to not say anything, to not express himself after he won a fight versus a white guy.
Just not to smile, not to smile. I mean, you saw the man, he didn't even smile. Because see, when Jack Johnson knocks people out, they say he cocky because he will knock a fight on the hopeless and he will smile. But then Joe Louis, he was trained to be a soldier. That's why he went to World War and all that, right? He was trained. When you knock your opponent out, you better not smile. Act like you lost the fight, matter of fact. So again, we know fighters on the coincidental list from the Jack Johnson days. They've been dominating the sport of boxing till this day. You know what I mean? This is nothing new. But they don't like that. They want to even out the playing field. And because the fighters on the coincidental list, they genetically are the best, obviously. So what they're trying to do is get these fighters on the hope list to be able to compete. Now, how to do that? They allow them to get away with dirt like Tyson Fury did. They allow them to take steroids and blame it on a wild boar or contaminated meat. And the WBC want to increase the computer limit a fighter could have in his system so he could pretty much eat contaminated meat and be legally able to fight. So that's crazy. We already know what time it is when it comes to the corruption of boxing. Boxing is so corrupted. There's so many loopholes that fighters on the hope list that cheat and utilize these advantages. What they do, they've been taking advantages of the loopholes in the system till this day. And that's how they are able to compete with the fighters on the top that's on the coincidental list.
Yeah, and just people don't even think like steroids started over in Europe. Like steroids were invented in Europe, like to compete during the trial Olympics. Do people want to talk about evil shit? Okay, let's talk about evil shit. Hitler was given a hit during that time. That was when the Olympics was like split and broke up. And then I think that was the Summer Games. When you saw those three people on the podium, those African American males holding up the black fist, that's an historic time because during that time in Europe, all the European teams were on steroids just to keep up with the brothers. That's no cap, that's no lie, and a lot of people are mad that I said that. You could feel some type of way that I said that, but it's the fucking truth. If you feel like because our genetics
Trump opinion, exactly Trump opinion any given day of the week.
Exactly. Black people just have we have a higher center of gravity. That's just the way we're built. Caucasian people have a medium center. I can't even call them Caucasian people because the first people in the Caucasus valleys weren't white. And like saying Caucasian people would say they're from the Caucasus and they're not. But that's another story. But to say like, and then basically white people basically have a medium center of gravity. Chinese people have the lower center of gravity. So that's why they're technically good swimmers because of the lower center of gravity. And that's why technically we're good runners. But in all other forms of athleticism, all you see is the top. I'm not even going to be racist, but all the top people in sports, period, are mostly African American. Just because
you don't even got to be boxing. We talk about basketball, football, and any sport you can name.
Yeah. Take out black people out of every sport and tell me what sport, take out black people from every sport. Would sports be interesting? No, because they wouldn't. They would not be interested. If black people made their own league in sports would not be interesting at all. And that's just be honest. If your favorite, and if you're trying to say, oh yeah, Nick Bola is being a big, no, it's not that. It's just facts. Black people, I'm gonna give my credit where credit's due in my skin, because every time I go and fight a fighter and they go in the ring with their flag of their country and feel proud for their crowd screaming for them, I can't even go in the ring with American flag. I don't even know where the fuck I came from. I don't even know what my flag of my country is, because I don't even know my last name. My last name's Asberry. As you can see, Nicholas Asberry. Asberry is a Briton. I don't deserve to even know my last name to have courage when I go inside the ring to feel important, but you guys carry a flag and feel so proud to have that flag behind you. What flag do I carry? We don't even carry a flag, and we go in there and perform to the highest fucking level. So you got to give credit where credit's due. You know what I'm saying? And we've been just shut up and dribble. Our president has told LeBron James to shut up and dribble. What kind of fucked up shit is that, man? They're treating us like just the levels of entertainment. That's all we are, levels of entertainment. If we don't entertain, they don't want us there at all. Even then, levels of entertainment, Tyson Fury cheating with steroids, taking wild boar meat, you guys will still say that it's okay. How is it okay?
Is a 70-year-old man. And Threat is a 70-year-old man because we already know who he associates himself with. A mob boss. Yeah, Daniel, I think his name is.
I just was thinking the same thing. The mob boss. So Tyson, so everybody, okay. So like, this is like the fucking, like, this is, you could go and look at this up personally. Tyson Fury is a manager or something. Some money dude is a giant Irish mob boss. And this dude, Tyson Fury asked him to be like some type of prime minister in Ireland. Nobody in Ireland actually fucks with this dude. This dude has been killing people, extorting people, and doing a bunch of other stuff. And Tyson Fury went on dinner dates with this dude, on record, on photo, on film, signed with him. You could go and see it for yourself that he's in time with the mob. He's in time with the mob, and you guys are still supporting him. But hey, mental health is a motherfucker, right? But he's with the mob? Mental health is a motherfucker, right?
And let me say this, and because Careful, I'm pretty sure you heard of the story. So Careful obviously came out saying that he lied in court because Tyson Fury bribed him to lie in court. Yes. Then he said, I want to tell the truth because it's haunting me, and I want to tell the truth. So when he did so, it blew up. Then Tyson Fury flew back to the hometown that Careful is from because they're around the same place, they gypsies. So Careful all of a sudden came out and said that, his safety is threatened. He didn't got 2 calls, threatened his life. People knocked on his door, threatening him. Then he pushed back his statements. He no longer want to cooperate with UCADA because he no longer want to go to court. Tyson Fury was facing an 8-year ban. And because they want to have the big mega fight between AJ and Tyson Fury, ain't no telling what they did to Careful, right? So all of a sudden, Careful taking his statements back, claiming that, listen, man, I had nothing but problems from the beginning of this, right? And old media want to flip the narrative to Tyson Fury is cleared of the allegations. Now, these aren't allegations. Let's make this clear. Tyson Fury failed for taking steroids. He took a drug test and he failed it due to the fact that he had steroids in his system. Now, the excuse was he ate a wild boar. Now, the man that supplied him the wild boar said that Tyson Fury paid for him to lie in court. And he don't even have wild boars. Matter of fact, that wild boar in particular Tyson Fury was talking about, it was extinguished. Come on, man.
To this day, that motherfucker gone.
That's what I'm saying. This man is the cheater of the century, and he has the best hope insurance in the world because they talking about, oh man, he was coming off depression and taking, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man, like tell the truth. If he made a mistake, it's cool. You could come back to the sport and man up because remember when Sugar Shane Mosley, he got busted for taking steroids. They had him do an interview on HBO talking about why he took steroids. Was you aware? And they made it a big story. But when it came to Tyson Fury, we didn't see the same thing. We saw 4 documentaries by ESPN talking about Tyson Fury depression story and how he went to depression, but they didn't tell us how he got to depression by taking steroids and fighting the best, which was Klitschko at the time, winning the fight, but he cheated to do so. So he got depressed. Why not tell the whole truth? Why script the story? You know what I'm saying? So
my man said they don't even say, how'd you even get depressed, motherfucker? Like, for real though, like I work in a therapeutic type of field. I work with therapy and stuff and getting up to I do a lot with kids that go through traumatic experiences. via Laquan McDowell, the kid that you guys might have heard of, national news. He got shot 16 times by a cop in Chicago. I work with kids around those bases. So, and I know what triggers that lead up to traumatic events for people to cause depression. There's clinical depression also. Those are chemical brain imbalances. And there's depression due to traumatic experiences. And then there's drug-induced depression. There's depression that you go on like from addiction, and then that you do the drugs too much, they become dependencies, and then you alter your mindset, and then you alter your thinking, and you become depressed. Which sounds like a big way for Tyson Fury to become depressed to me, but don't use the physical, like he's depressed. You could tell. Look at him, he's fat as hell. But hey, man, he was fat before every single one of his last fights, though. So I'm not blaming that bullshit. Like
that's what I'm saying.
He's been the same way before every single one of his fights. And this is actual proof that if the people want to go see and find out for themselves, they could go see. People just want the media to tell them who is their champion. You guys keep on eating up food. America keeps on eating up what they tell us to do. They tell us what to do. They tell us how to think and what to think. They tell us who's going to be what, who's superior to who. When are we going to stop doing this? I'm going to tell you what, I worked with a kid before. The kid went to a school in Boys Town. It's a diverse school. Boys Town is a very up and coming LGBTQ community type of place. I went to these places, and so I did interviews with these kids. I mean, well, I didn't do interviews with these kids. I worked with these kids, and then so I talked to these kids, and these kids are asking me about holidays. They're asking me about Christmas. And they're like, man, I did my research, and Thanksgiving's a fucked up holiday. And they're like, well, they didn't say that to me. But all it says, they came back the next day of school and said, Mr. Nick, I don't even celebrate Thanksgiving no more because of the mess of stuff that it did to the people. And instead of celebrating Thanksgiving, me and my family give tribute to the Indians that passed away and different tribes that passed away during those times. You know, it's just becoming, it's like, are you willing to take away what they said was the narrative for your life? Or are you willing, like Christopher Columbus discovered America? No, the fuck he didn't. We got Christopher Columbus statues all over. Are you guys tired of these people lying to you? We have the facts and all the proof right here. It's just up to the people. Are you willing to take the extra step and use your independent brain and say, hey, I'm going to start making a change in my life. I'm going to start doing things and using my own brain and stop letting people think for me. And I'm going to go about this and find out what the facts of this are. I'm going to go to all my heroes and all my idols, because I know a lot of people thought Jeff Epstein might have been their idol some way. I don't know, somehow, you know. But like they found out that, hey, this guy was an evil person, you know. These people get put on these pedestals.
Yeah, what they do, they try to strip the people on the coincidental list of their culture, and that's what they pretty much did. Like Muhammad Ali said, you know, they gave him a name, Cassius Clay, but where did that name come from, right? Yeah. Then he found out that originally his people, a lot of people that don't know, see, you know, a lot of people in Africa are Muslims. They have Muslims' names, right? So Muhammad Ali learned that, and that's why he was given the name Muhammad Ali. Muhammad stands for the prophet, Muhammad and Ali stand for the Most High. You know, so if you peep his name and you peep his star in Hollywood, because Muhammad Ali is the only one that have a star in Hollywood, but peep where the star is. It's on the wall, not on the ground, because you don't step on the prophet name. And that's why Muhammad didn't want his name to be on a star on the ground. He says disrespectful to step on the prophet name. That's why they put it on the wall. But my point is, we know what people got to do to go to Hollywood and have a star there. But Muhammad Ali did it the right way, the rightful way, and he got he was putting on a different pedestal. He was putting on the wall, not on the ground. But again, they try to strip the people on the coincidentalist of their culture. They want to give them a different culture. They want to give them different ideas, different religions. And that's what the issue in the United States. But like I said, you know, for example, you know, going back to the point, Big Baby Miller, right? When he failed the drug test, man, they ate him up and chewed him out. They spit him out, right? So, you know, Big Baby Miller, they gave him the work, but Tyson Fury, his Hope Insurance saved his ass. They cover up Tyson Fury, but a guy like Big Baby Miller, he gets that work though. I mean, even though Big Baby Miller cheated or whatever, they still, of course. I mean, I think he's goofy as hell for like what he cheated and accusing somebody else and then coming up dirty. But still, I mean, that's goofy. But then on top of that, multiple people have been doing it, like actors, baseball players, like everybody has been like, people have been cheating. Like
and getting like and still getting it covered up. Like what? So what do we tell a kid that you take to practice every day to do a sport? Oh yeah, don't worry, kid.
There's shortcuts. There's shortcuts.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like exactly. Like, okay, kid, you're doing great, but you know, to really get to the top, we got to juice you up. Like, or like, oh yeah, like you know, just fuck it. Go to a little league and tell all the go to a little league, grab the microphone, the announcer microphone, and say, all you kids have to take steroids to become somebody, and then just walk off, and then see how those kids react to that. That you're gonna get the most honest
example they put out.
That's the example. That's might as well to be the example, but it's a subliminal example. So this example is a passive example because you guys are still praising him. But if you really do the research, you can find out that he's a dirty motherfucker. But if you guys are still praising him, the kids are thinking like, I could be dirty but still get praised if my skin color is white. That shit didn't change. Like, see, man, come on, man.
Deep inside, they know the truth, but they don't want to face the truth because it's hurting their feelings. See, decafs watch my channel when it comes to the Tyson Fury tampered gloves. They watch every single video and they complain about every single video. So if you're complaining, why are you watching every single video? But that's what it is. They hate the truth, but they're allergic to it because you know, when you go to that doctor and you sick, you want to know the truth. You don't want the doctor to lie to you so you can feel better. So that's equivalent to the decafs. You know, they want to know the truth because at the end of the day, they tired of hearing lies. They want to know the truth. And then when they hear the truth, they try to cover up. They try to hide from the truth. They don't want to face it. They want to use deflection tactics. And that's the issue. But like you were talking about earlier, how can you set a good example? Like me, I look up to Muhammad Ali. I look up to athletes that I'm proud of. You know what I mean? And can you look up to Tyson Fury? Absolutely no. Because every bad example, he didn't commit it when it comes to taking steroids, loading up his gloves, and try to talk like he the man, like he could talk and how he walk it. But like I said, they giving this man confidence and power. So I want to, I want to inform you on this topic, which is the WBC. They reached out to Deontay Wilder to establish damage control because, you know, they don't want Deontay Wilder to come out and drop that bomb squad on the mic to, you know, obviously because that's going to expose the old media and the WBC themselves because they are partners with the glove company Tyson Fury was wearing. So what's your take on
I didn't know that
comment when they said it's stupid and irresponsible by Deontay Wilder and his team to come out and say that Tyson Fury tampered with his glove or there was a possibility of him tampering with his glove, knowing the facts and the proofs and everything that we put on the table. We put it together like puzzle. We put the whole truth together like puzzle for them. We investigated for them and they still ignoring it, trying to throw it under the rug, trying to act like new media is blowing smoke when it's a freaking wildfire in the damn jungle. So what's your take on that?
That's great, man. Like I came at the WBC, I messaged them, you know, and they have this new WBC got this new water out. It ended up they got this new water out. I ended up taking a picture, and then the guy that took the picture was like, "This is going straight through WBC." I was like, "Man, they hate me because I threatened them. I did all types of shit because they covered up everything, man. Now to come and find out, like I had my thoughts and conspiracies about like stuff, and then I started coming at network channels like ESPN and stuff. Everybody knows this shit. Nobody's saying anything about it because Frank Warren went on record and said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna sue Nick Asberry if he keeps on talking." I'm still talking, and nobody's sued me yet. Tyson Fury said he's gonna sue me, and he hasn't sued me yet. Tyson Fury said, "I'm the next great thing, and I'm a next prospect in boxing." And then come to find out, the next interview he did, he's like, "Oh, Nick Asberry is trash." Okay, but before I was like the next prospect, like. You see what I'm saying? Like, but when these Glovegate with the so-called allegations, that's why they put conspiracy around things. Like, people are starting to watch things that used to have I mean, like, they do far-fetched conspiracies, of course, but like the things that you can actually go and look up, it's not a conspiracy, it's actually a fact. And people don't want to be labeled, they don't want to be generalized as one thing. Nobody wants to be generalized as one thing. Just be generalized as a smart individual if you look up these things and know that they're facts. That's it. And
there's no conspiracy, like I said earlier, when it comes to a topic that we bring in evidence to the table. There's footages. Like I said, people lie. Your eyes don't lie. So these decafs know the truth deep inside. They could pretend and hide from the truth, but they know the truth deep inside. There's evidence. There's witnesses, such as you, Nicholas Asberry. There's coaches. There's victims, you name it, we have it. We even got doctors, and they're still talking about his conspiracy theories.
Yeah, there's doctors, there's the guys who got been threatened. There's people all over. I know no fighter from those camps that came out and said anything to me about it. Or I follow all of them on social media. I talk to all of them. Nobody said anything. Because why? Because I'm telling the truth. If anybody that was there the only person that was there that said something was Coach Barry. Even when I called Tyson Fury out for the England camp, Cassius Chaney was there, Frankie Rill was there, Benny Abogdabi was there, Rico Van Hoven was there. Everybody was there. Huey Fury was there. Everybody was there, and nobody's saying, "Oh yeah, Nick Asberry's not speaking the truth." Do you see anybody saying that? No, but the only person that was there was Coach Barry, and he did say something, and he did say Tyson Fury cheated. And
1,000% reliable too. Let's mention that too.
Yeah. You don't even have to like boxing. You go like how there's boxing fans and MMA fans. Well, you'll love Coach Barry because he did pad work with almost everybody. He trained almost everybody in MMA. And I'm not even and that goes to show even sports that we don't know about, type of Muay Thai fighting with headbutts and shit, shit that we don't know about. And those people, nobody's ever said anything about what I'm saying about Tyson Fury, but I also have evidence, have pictures, have voicemails from Ben Davis.
But you know what they want to say? They want to say our eyes are Photoshop. That's what they're trying to convince us. They want to tell you, oh, what you seeing? Oh yeah, that is a conspiracy. It's not the truth. My eye is not gonna lie to me, but I know the WBC will, because the WBC president Suleiman, he lied on more than one occasion. He condoned cheaters on more than one occasion. He condoned Margarito. He said that Margarito was innocent, and that's a fact. He said that Margarito was innocent when Margarito cheated Cotto, right? How do the WBC look when it came out that Margarito was proven guilty? Right. Criminal. Then they condoned Canelo Alvarez, Jimenez, and the list goes on of fighters that cheated, took steroids, or tampered, or loaded up their gloves, and they condoned them, claiming they were innocent. Like I said, Jimenez, Canelo, Margarito, and the list goes on and on and on. So you're no longer reliable because you threw your integrity and your honor out of the window. You have no honor nor integrity because you lied on more than one occasion. How can you claim that Margarito was innocent? And I'm going to provide all the proof when it comes to the WBC lying on more than one occasion for the cheaters' behalf on this video in the description box below. So, like I said, we don't trust the WBC, but they want to tell us our eyes are Photoshop when they cut off the camera in Tyson Fury's dressing room. You know what I'm saying? Why would you cut off the camera in Tyson Fury's dressing room if he's innocent? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. When has that ever happened in boxing where somebody goes to the corner, tries to cut off the camera? When is that? That never happens. And then, for example, the guy that was Tyson Fury's cut man that saved him versus the Wildland fight, which he got a gift there because that cut, anybody would have got called on that cut. But during the Wildland fight, the guy said, oh, yeah, Tyson Fury doesn't use those gloves. And he came out with a video on YouTube saying Tyson Fury uses these gloves for the bag. Those were the gloves that he said he used for the bag were the same gloves that he used with me in sparring. And then in the build-up to that fight, the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder 2 fight, Tyson Fury's getting in the ring. Oh, Tyson Fury's getting ready to spar, but he kicks the camera crew out. But right before he kicks him out, when Tyson Fury's in the ring, he has on those so-called bag gloves. And then do we see the number? Okay. Oh, let me just throw
his name. Okay. His name is Jose. Let me give you Capetillo.
Okay.
Jorge Capetillo.
Yeah, Jorge Capetillo. Okay. Since he was such a great cut man, everybody was telling Tyson Fury to give him bonuses. Why wasn't he in the fight with Deontay Wilder too?
Thank you. Why he kick him off? That don't make no sense. This man saved your eye and saved the Wilder payday, and you kick him off. And however, he was in the dressing room. What was he doing in the dressing room if he's not your cut man? And let me inform you on this. That same cut man, Jorge, is Margarito trainer nephew. That trainer that got busted loading up Margarito gloves. That was the nephew of that trainer that got suspended for cheating, right? Now, that same person that saved Tyson Fury out, why wasn't he the cut man again? And the better question, what was he doing in the dressing room? Was he tampering with the gloves while they cut off the camera in the dressing room? That's the $1 million question, right?
Yeah, they're saying over a period of time the gloves looked like they got worn out because he kept on like pushing the padding. Because I mean, the padding was moved around in the gloves when I first picked the sparring gloves, and I'm pretty sure over the accumulation of rounds, Tyson Fury has both his hands between his knees. He's 6'6". The camera can't see what's going on. For example, like when Maidana fought fucking Floyd Mayweather, and then Alex Ariza has something in his hand and puts it in Maidana's mouth. Nobody questions that, but we saw it on TV.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? We saw it on TV. Nobody was like, "What? Okay, that shit was weird." Nobody says anything. Okay, let me tell you this. In boxing,
and Maidana, he tried to tamper with his glove against Floyd Mayweather too. And this is the crazy part. When you're on the coincidental list, Floyd Mayweather was the face of boxing, and he had to pay Maidana $1.2 or $1.5 million. So Maidana won't cheat. Gear Makers was telling the commission, he was telling the commission, listen, man, this glove was clearly tampered with. How y'all gonna allow Maidana to use this glove? The commission said, oh, the glove is okay. It met all the requirement. When the glove had no padding, Floyd Mayweather fought 1,000 times. He fought against the best, the hardest punchers, the best in the game. He never complained about nobody glove. And all of a sudden, he complaining about Maidana gloves, the same guy that got beat every single round from pillow to post by Alexander 4 fights before that.
Oh, yeah.
And the commission approved it, knowing Gear Makers was telling them that this glove was clearly tampered with, and Floyd Mayweather was telling the commission, man, I done fought 1,000 times. Y'all not going to get no slick bullshit on me. And what they told Floyd Mayweather, oh, the glove is A-OK. They try to set Floyd Mayweather up. However, being the genius that Floyd is, he had to pay $1.5 million. So the man won't cheat. That's the type of double standards that fighters on the coincidental list are facing. And Floyd Mayweather talked about that. He said, being 50-0 is not that simple. He said, I had to beat double standards. I had to beat the commission. I had to beat the referee, the judges that try to rob him against Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez. And the list goes on and on and on. Oh, so, to add on to your point, you can continue.
Oh man, yeah, that's true. You just brought something into my head that when has the commission ever caught somebody for cheating in boxing?
Not against what's that guy named Resto, Luis Resto. He cheated. They ain't busted him. Maidana was trying to cheat. They were trying to allow him to cheat. Margarito cheated on more than one occasion. It was Nassim Rahman. May he rest in peace, inshallah. He was the one that busted Margarito trying to cheat, not the commission, not the referee. So why are they being there? Just to get paid without doing their job? That's exactly what they doing. They part of the corruption, and the corruption in boxing need to be cleared up. Because like you said, all these top-ranked fighters, again, these top-ranked fighters, Luis Resto was a top-ranked fighter. Tyson Fury was a top-ranked fighter. Margarito was a top-ranked fighter. All these top-ranked fighters. I mean, Tyson Fury, he left Showtime. He had a rematch with Deontay Wilder on the line. He said, nah, I'm going to go sign with ESPN. Then I'm going to come back and holler at you, making it more difficult. And then come to find out, he was getting his hope insurance ready. He signed up for his hope insurance so he could make sure they cover every little thing. So like you said, when have the commission ever busted something? And the WBC president, his big ass tail, he bigger than Tyson Fury. He said he was in Tyson Fury dressing room and he was in Deontay Wilder dressing room, when that was clearly a lie, according to Deontay Wilder and his team, and according to footage. When we saw Tyson Fury in his dressing room, we never saw the WBC president. So we know he's lying through his teeth, just like he lied on more than one occasion, defending cheaters such as Margarito, Canelo, and Jimenez, who failed for drug tests, took steroids on more than one occasion, and he's still defending them blind, and Margarito. So, you could continue.
Yeah, man, like you said, man, like all these boxing, like if you hear about the major controversial times in boxing where somebody cheated dramatically, who's got, like, the only people got caught these people were the other coaches. Coaches are the only people that are catching people cheating in boxing. It's not the commission. The commission, let me tell you something about people who boxing commissions are all probably like 60 years old or over, and they never lace up a pair of boxing. Judges too. Judges have never fought a day in their life. Most announcers in boxing, the people running boxing haven't even boxed a day in their fucking life, but they make the most money in boxing. and they haven't laced on a pair of gloves. They don't know nothing about boxing. They can't even do anything about boxing. If I were to go say that everybody that's saying that I'm saying what is wrong about Tyson Fury, I could tell all you guys to come fight me, but none of you guys would come fight me because all you guys are scared, chicken shit. You know what I'm saying? So if I said everybody that's saying I'm lying about Tyson Fury, and a lot of people are putting out messages to me and stuff like that, if you come out and fight me and find out the truth and see if I really beat his ass. Because I guarantee you that none of you could go 50 seconds in the fucking ring with me, and that's on God. Man, and I don't play that shit.
Listen, you don't even got to go there. You know why? If they don't even have the cojones to call in and debate me, when it's just their voice, I know they don't have the cojones to face you in a damn ring. I know 1,000%. They don't even have the cojones to debate me because they can't go against the truth. I didn't call out all the decafs, wizards, all these trolls, all these coons on YouTube that stay mentioning my name in vain. I give them the opportunity to debate me one-on-one, and they don't have the cojones to even debate me when they remain anonymous, let alone you. I mean, obviously coming to spar you, I know they don't got no damn cojones. I mean, Tyson Fury even had to load up his gloves and spar you. So, like I said, you know, I want to mention this last point because, you know, you brought up a great point. You know, the commission was there, right? And they want to say, well, Deontay Wilder, his trainer was there, JD. But Cotto trainer was there as well, watching Margarito load up his glove. That's why this man is a professional cheater. He knows how to get away with cheating. I mean, he got away with cheating in front of our eyes. So, of course, he knows how to get away with cheating against, you know, Deontay Wilder trainer. So Deontay Wilder trainer being there don't mean a damn thing because Margarito cheated in the past and Cotto trainer was there. You're not, you know, obviously, you know, you don't know. They probably distracted JD. Ain't no telling what went on. But one thing for sure, our eyes is not going to lie to us.
Yep. I was about to say, look at JD was in there smiling. Tyson Fury's like, oh, yeah, rewrap the gloves. And that's the only footage they showed, a JD smiling.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds. He's not focused on the glove. He's not focused on the glove if he's smiling. And Tyson Fury's whole style is distraction. Smoke and mirror. His whole style is feigning. Feigning is like a big part of his game. His whole game is to get you looking at one thing while he's doing another thing. You know, you got to take that in consideration. Boxing transcends to outside of the ring. If somebody's a messy fighter inside the ring, I guarantee you the room is dirty as hell outside of the ring. It's just the way it transcends, you know? And like this shit, his whole family has been caught doing criminal activity. His whole family. While I'm a black man, I don't got nothing on my record. Deontay Wilder has nothing on his record, but you guys are willing to accept a crook from a whole nother that's sponsored by a mob boss, like the amount of hypocrisy and it's disgusting to know that people actually support something like this and can go into the mirror or go into their kid's face and say that they believe that this person is a champion and what I say to you is right because you're just building generations of just more chaos. The truth is right here for people to see. Even if you don't want to believe my words, if you don't want to believe his words, you will argue. Whatever question you got, it could get answered. It probably got answered in here 3 times over again. But since you don't want to hear it and you want to hear it directly towards you, we're there for the smoke. We've been there for the smoke, even talking to people that probably aren't even real fucking you know, fake accounts, you know, just to get this point across. Some people don't want to believe the truth. That's up to you if you don't want to believe the truth. But don't poison them and intoxicate them with your belief of what you think is real. That's fucked up.
Our eyes is not gonna lie to us. That's 1,000%, you know, sure. But I want to say this because, you know, obviously, you know, you brought up the 10-second that the BET Sports put up, which was like a slap in the face. If you're gonna show footage, show the whole footage and prove Tyson Fury innocent. Why y'all gonna show 2 seconds or 10 seconds? And when y'all cut off the camera, they cut off the camera, but they're gonna show us 10 seconds. Now, what sense does that make?
Exactly. And then they only show Tyson. They only show Tyson Fury for like 2 seconds, and then they show the rest of his trainer sitting there like this. Like, dude, what? Like, yeah, see, he wasn't cheating. Like, what? Bro, like, what? And then Tay Jones is telling me, Deontay Wilder's sparring partner is telling me, yeah, Deontay Wilder had to go. We usually kick it after Deontay Wilder fights, you know. They would have done that win or lose. They already had shit set up for them to go kick it around in the town. And then they had to come back within 24 hours of the fight for Deontay Wilder to have emergency surgery. So You know?
And that's the dent on his head from Tyson Fury Tampered glove. So
because if your skull gets cracked, you have to have surgery.
Wow, that's crazy. You say that. So he had his surgery, I guess, a day right after the fight.
He had to leave within 24 hours of the fight because when you get your skull cracked and you have to go to a doctor's examination, it has to be within 24 hours to even say if it was from the fight.
Right.
So his brother is linking. And remember, let me mind you, they have a 3-fight contract deal. I think one of them the last one's like 22 million, and then they get the rest of their negotiation on that contract. So let me mind you, that's a lot of money. Like, even if I got my skull cracked, like, man, that's a lot of money to just blow away. Or even if Deontay Wilder has to like pay off the rest of that the contract for the fight if he's too injured to fight. You know, we don't know these things. We don't know.
He's sitting on a nice lawsuit, right? He could sue the whole damn boxing industry and probably, you know, get the bag. However, the second sweetest thing next to getting mushy is that revenge. So I'm pretty sure he want to make that money because now the third fight is bigger than ever. Expose Tyson Fury during the lead up and then get his sweet revenge because now Tyson Fury gonna get exposed for having pillow fist. You know, he can't even hurt a damn fly. He like that version of Paulie Malignaggi in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Oh, brother, you speak what? Hey, I was talking shit, boy. But I was speaking of Paulie Malignaggi. I've been talking about that motherfucker. Thank God he got fired. But yes, you are right. He is the motherfucking jittery crackhead version of Paulie Malignaggi. They fight like crackheads. And when I see Paulie Malignaggi, I'm slapping the shit out of him. But
Paulie said this, right? He said that why will I feel bad for the people on the coincidental list and people, period, that were slaves that came from Africa when their own people sold them. Now, let me just say this because that's just so highly offensive. But first of all, you act like their family sold these people. They were kids that were kidnapped. They were kids that were kidnapped. This is a sensitive subject. These were kids that was kidnapped, then sold by evil people to make money. We already know every house got its bathroom, right? Yeah. So you telling me you don't feel sympathy for kids that got kidnapped and sold, enslaved, and generation they still going through the same thing, and they still going through that same thing to this day, and you telling me you feel no sympathy for that? And then he talked about the racism he received as an Italian. So if you receive racism, why you don't feel sympathy for others? If it's true.
Exactly, that's true. That's being empathetic. If he's not being serving empathy to others, like mainly the black people and people of color want other people to realize is that we're going through some distress. He's saying that he went to equal distress as black people did. So if you felt the same thing as we did, why wouldn't you feel the support to help somebody else out? But on all intel, Paulie Malignaggi also went on. He liked something that said on Twitter that said now I'm full-blown white supremacist. He thinks, and then he wanted to argue with me on Instagram about RICO cases and all that shit. And then another thing to add on about black people selling other people to slavery, we didn't have motherfuckers are so stupid. We didn't have capitalism in Africa during those times. Capitalism is a European concept. Capitalism is something that you guys had. We had this thing called the dirty servantry, a form of it, but the form got more severe when it came to the United States because it makes it seem like you're more of a slave when you say the word a dirty servant. But that's what the title of a name is. But I'm just call it that. But we had a trade system. If I did for you, you did for me. If you owe me something, you might owe me a little bit more. But hey, this white man's coming. Hey, we're gonna take these people over here to work. We're going to take these people over here to work for your family. I mean, do your bid. Do you have somebody over here to collect? Oh, I have an indentured servant that owes me some work that he could go work, and you're going to bring him back. Oh, yeah, we're going to bring him back. Didn't bring him back. That's the whole thing. And like you said, little kids getting kidnapped from other tribes and then sold. Those are the coons, okay? Though we got the decast. You know what I'm saying? We have these people set in place to set these things up. It necessarily doesn't have to be so much about race, but at the end of the day, look at the first fight in boxing that generated the most money because of what? George Clooney versus Larry Holmes. They made that the great white hype. They said it wasn't about race, but the biggest thing was it is. You guys represent flags when you go into the ring, say, that country makes me proud. Your country versus my country, U.S. versus Mexico. Isn't that race? But boxing isn't about race, right?
And crazy, right? Deontay Wilder get booed in his own country. What other countries? You saw Floyd Mayweather get booed his whole career. when he was the face of boxing. He fighting nobody. Like, he fight a fighter that's not known, right? And he getting booed. It's like, man, I know y'all not that dude's fans. I know y'all not just Guerrero fans out of nowhere, right? Y'all just Floyd Mayweather haters. Just like Tyson Fury fans aren't really Tyson Fury fans. They Deontay Wilder haters. See, when Errol Spence went to the UK, he got booed against Kell Brook, right? He got booed. They was treating Kell Brook like he the hometown fighter. I respect that. That's how it's supposed to go. But when Lomachenko went overseas and fought Luke Campbell, they treated Lomachenko like he was the hometown fighter. Now, what sense does that make? It just show you it's really everywhere. And if you act like it don't exist, you're just part of the corruption. You know what I mean? But, I want to mention this, these two topics. I want to talk with you about these two last topics, which is Errol Spence. ESPN erased Lomachenko loss on more than one occasion. When he lost fair and square, they erased it when he lost to Salido, right? They put the footage up, try to fool the public, the casual fans that don't know any better. When Salido took him to that Mexican university that he didn't know anything about, he took him to a whole university he didn't know about in the sport of boxing. So they erased Lomachenko loss when the man, he clearly lost, right? Because obviously he has the best hope insurance in the world, the Tyson Fury hope insurance. That's better than Geico. They erase losses. They erase your track record if you cheated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, they will erase Lomachenko loss, but ESPN, they don't want to erase Deontay Wilder loss. So shouldn't ESPN erase Deontay Wilder leading up to the third fight because Tyson Fury got caught cheating? Shouldn't that be the way?
Yeah, I mean, like, an all-natural aspect of it is, I would say the third fight, let Deontay Wilder decide if he wants to get his get back, him just being a human and us being away from the fight, because if somebody cheated in a fight and Deontay Wilder fully wants to beat his ass, let him do that, but he cheated, what I'm saying? Tyson Fury cheated. But they should definitely do what they did for all those people that had losses that they just wiped away. Like Lomachenko had a loss that just naturally nobody ever thinks about. Nobody even actually comes into their mind. They still thinks this man is the Matrix. He's indestructible. No, he lost the fight to Orlando Solis and then got another title shot. How the fuck do you lose
avoided the rematch? He avoided the rematch too,
and avoided the rematch because he couldn't catch weight. That's why he catch weight Guillermo Rigondeaux. He wasn't trying to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux at that weight when Guillermo Rigondeaux was dancing around people. As you see in that fight versus Guillermo Rigondeaux and Lomachenko, Guillermo Rigondeaux was using his upper body for defense and not his feet. And we know what about Guillermo Rigondeaux? His best attribute is his feet. And he was just using his upper body to move around because he couldn't move around with the weight on him because he's not used to that weight. But he said, fuck it, I'm not fighting anyway, so I'm going to fight today. And then that's how they get people. They keep mostly they keep fighters on the shelf, and then they try to expose them all later on. Like
Walters. Walters is too. They had him on the shelf, and then all of a sudden they made him move up a division. They don't want the fight Lomachenko 126.
Yeah, and then let me tell you, and this is not MMA. MMA, for example, Jose Aldo will go in retirement for a year and then come out and fight Conor McGregor. It doesn't work like that. Let me tell you, here's how the fighting works and a fighter works. When a fighter comes out of something of not being fighting for a long time, he has to get sharp again. You have to reevaluate the tools. You need time to do that. Like the timing and stuff, like the aspects and the reaction, the response, all that stuff needs time to come too. That's why Tyson Fury has, Tyson Fury had to fight 3 blown up cruiserweights for a fight, but then he came back to fighting main fights. You know what I'm saying? Right. MMA, they just go straight to fighting the top guy. Okay, what's a butter knife to a Ginsu blade? Okay, if you don't use your skill over time, if you don't use it like the human body, you lose it. And then he doesn't use it, he's losing it. And now all of a sudden they want to get in there against it. And then now all of a sudden the fighter that you see that's going down via Roberto Duran, via Nicholas Walters, you see them on their downfall, gaining weight, having fun, enjoying life, and then you catch them at a catch weight and offer them a ton of money. But they haven't been fighting for a long time because somebody else has been talking to a promoter, telling them, hey, yo, don't give them fights because we need to keep them on the shelf because we want to catch them on here and we want to get their numbers for BoxRec. Once we get their numbers for BoxRec, we can shoot their stat sheet all the way up there. And promoters pay money on BoxRec. Let me tell you, promoters pay for rankings on BoxRec. So everybody's thinking like their fighters are fit. No, if your promoter got that money, he could place you up there. If your promoter got that dough, he can put you up there.
Thank you, because I remember Tom Schwartz I didn't know who the kid was. I looked
Man.
at the rankings. He was at 63 in the
Yeah.
heavyweight division. And then the next day they put him up on like the 30, the top 30 heavyweights or something. I was like, how he go from 63 to the top 30? The same thing for Otto Wallen. But to go back to the point you brought up on Rigondeaux, see, Rigondeaux today, he's a champion at 118. They made Rigondeaux fight 3 divisions over his weight at 130, right? So they set Rigondeaux up because they had to move up 3-weight division as an old man. Lomachenko had the youth on his side. He had the weight advantage on his side. And they set up Rigondeaux because he was no longer active. He was fighting 1 time a year because he was the most feared, the most avoided. At the time, he had fighters moving up a division because they didn't want to face him, right? So they made Rigondeaux move up to 130. However, Lomachenko talking about facing this guy Inoue at 126. But you don't want to fight Rigondeaux at 126, and you turn down a fight with Rigondeaux at 126. However, you fighting Rigondeaux at 130, and he utilized cheating tactics or veteran tactics, as people like to call it, right? So I respect that. But people can't claim Salido was being dirty when Lomachenko was being dirty with Rigondeaux. So it's okay for Lomachenko to be dirty with Rigondeaux, but it's not okay for Salido to be dirty with Lomachenko. However, these same people that claiming Salido was dirty, they don't say Tyson Fury was dirty against Deontay Wilder when he was hitting Deontay Wilder the whole fight in the back of the head, which is illegal, or pushing his head down, putting him in the arm lock, spin him around on some UFC shit. They don't say that Tyson Fury was dirty, but they want to say Lomachenko, he got cheated because Salido was dirty. You get what I'm saying? So we know what time it is. They just want to deflect from the truth.
Damn right. All the time to try to redirect your brain, redirect. If I can get you distracted with something else, then you'll forget this. And by the time, if I keep on spamming you with so much, like Tyson Fury is spamming the hell out of us with like books, clothing, having a new ring belt, being the #1 fighter, ESPN. Like they keep on giving these accolades to make us forget how much of a shitty person he is,
Hey, thank you. You brought up, obviously the award he just received. Midway of the year is another deflection tactic. Now, funny enough, Glovegate 2.0 hit the world, the boxing world, like the Rona of the world, right? It's simply the Rona of boxing. And the old media want to ignore it, right? Now, ESPN, out of nowhere, they award Tyson Fury the fighter of the year, midway of the year, when the man cheated against Deontay Wilder. So it's like a slap in the face. Like, we don't care how y'all feel. We're going to erase Lomachenko loss. We're going to cover for Tyson Fury, and we're going to give him the fighter of the year, knowing he cheated.
Yep. That's it was like, it's just they're trying to spam us and make us forget, like you said, like redirect. Redirection is a form of making people forget. It's also a form of like let's say anchoring. Like you remember everything off commercials just due to the jingle of it, because that's like if like Colgate sold me something and they had a commercial like brush your teeth and like that. Every time I hear that noise, I would think of Colgate or something like that. That's an anchoring technique. Now what they're doing is trying to anchor all these accolades on a Tyson Fury, saying that he's your champion. They're anchoring these things. It's an NLP form of technique. It's a thing that the media has been using for years. It's a thing that people use to try to get us to buy certain products. And why do you think the grocery store is set up in certain ways, where we go to buy the little trinket aisle and stuff is set up a certain way? Okay, these things are for a reason. Okay, why do you think Instagram is set up so we scroll up and heart things when we double tap it? These things are for these reasons. These endorphins get released that we do. We see these things. We see that he's the champion. We see that, okay, they keep on giving him praise. We're just going to let the people, because we think that we know, we think that those people that give them all these accolades, that they know boxing. They don't know shit about boxing. Let me tell you that. ESPN, all these judges, all these people, they never even laced up a pair of gloves a day in their life. The only time they put on a pair of gloves is to keep their hands warm from the winter time. That's the only time they put on gloves in their whole fucking life. And like people are just accepting what is being told to you. Like so, why would you?
So let me add this, because remember Floyd Mayweather, when he was fighting, they was ranking Manny Pacquiao as the fighter of the decade, right? When Manny Pacquiao was fighting Floyd Mayweather, leftovers. And Manny Pacquiao get knocked out by Marquez. He's still the fighter of the decade, according to ESPN, right? Now, they were pushing for a Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather fight when Pacquiao turned down the fight due to a needle, right? So Pacquiao turned the fight down. Regardless of that, ESPN, old media, HBO, blame Floyd Mayweather for the fight not happening. when they knew it was Pacquiao that they didn't want to take the test, right? Then I remember Teddy Atlas at the time, he came out on ESPN and said that Pacquiao team told Floyd Mayweather, hey, listen, if I fail the drug test 14 days before the fight, can the fight still continue? And Floyd Mayweather team said, absolutely not, right? That's the type of information Teddy Atlas was giving out to the public. And ESPN and old media was still blaming Floyd Mayweather. Now, how ironic is it? As soon as the fight got made, Teddy Atlas himself, matter of fact, he told Floyd Mayweather, why now? Why not fight Pacquiao in 2009? What do you mean? You knew it was Pacquiao who turned down the fight, bro. But it's just, again, they don't care. They don't care about the facts. He knows the truth. However, he want to lie to the public. I respect the man that don't know anything and he's just talking out of his a-hole. I could at least respect that. I will inform you and take the time out of my day. But when a guy, he knows the truth deep inside, however, he preferred to lie to the public. See, that's the type of character that rather be loved for telling a lie than hated for telling the truth. But I'm cut from a different cloth. So what I'm pretty much saying is Floyd Mayweather, he fought Pacquiao in 2015, beat Pacquiao, right? Then ESPN, they don't give the fighter of the year to Floyd Mayweather. They gave it to Ronda Rousey. But ironically enough, Ronda Rousey got knocked out by Holly Holm. Now you can't make it up, can you?
No, you can't. All this stuff is right there. It's able for you guys to see, and it's basically just the facts and the proof of the pudding, and what you're basically willing to accept, I guess, if you're man enough to accept, or feel like you're knowledgeable enough to accept these different things, or open enough to accept these different things. That hey, these things are getting covered up and look upon over. Everybody's talking about agendas and media. Oh yeah, people are talking about human sex trafficking versus the black rights war or whatever. But in all actuality, it's the same exact thing. If you free the black people first, all the shit starts hitting the fan. Okay, but that's different. But we get these things keep on getting swept up and redirected when the proof is right there. There's no more need to add on. There's no need to even go into detail just to try to convince you guys even more. It's just we're just going to talk about what is actually happening and what's actually generating out of what the actual issue is. And the issue is that these people are cheating in this sport where you have to say where it costs you your life, and then you guys are accepting it and letting the media just roll over it. Nobody's questioning ESPN. Nobody's questioning, even with the baseball conspiracies. When steroids and ESPN, they covered up half of this shit with MLB and everybody on steroids, and then nobody wants to.
You should be doing this interview with ESPN. See, you should have the first interview you should have ever had was really with ESPN because the type of information you were giving out to the public was just mind-boggling to me, and they were trying to ignore it. And if it wasn't for new media that put this to the forefront, they would have ignored it. If it wasn't for new media, then Paulie Malignaggi wouldn't have got fired. Now, how ironic is it? Paulie Malignaggi, that same dude that was bashing Pacquiao for taking steroids, or even though Pacquiao never failed the test, he said Pacquiao was on some. He went off and bashed Pacquiao, but when it comes to Tyson Fury, the man that actually failed for steroids, that took steroids, and that's a fact. He want to cover up for Tyson Fury. He want to claim, and I had a debate with him over Glovegate, over police brutality, and many more things. I made an hour-long video knocking all his points out because I challenged him to come on Split Decision. Obviously, he don't have the cojones to face the truth either. So my point is, like you said, they know the truth. ESPN, they know being undefeated is impressive for a fighter because it's so easy to lose. Every fighter could have an off night. If you don't, I could have an off night any given day if I'm a fighter, right? Now, Floyd Mayweather stayed undefeated for 2 decades, 3 decades, and beat all odds, beat double standards, and you name it. However, they want to erase Lomachenko loss and claim being undefeated is not impressive. So if being undefeated is not impressive, why y'all erasing Lomachenko loss? So the facts is in the pudding. Like, we see it right in front of our faces, and new media put the whole truth together like puzzle. And that's why we got old media shook, and we replaced old media as the mainstream media. Yeah, we definitely got your back, Nicholas Asberry. You already know this is your home. Split Decision is your home. Akhi TV is your Akhi. Is your brother.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. And on top of that.
Yeah, but continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to mention that point.
like you said, on top of that, the media now, we're the new media. Even people on Facebook that send out blogs and that write posts, those are like media type posts. And like, but they're not as major as Split Decision, you know what I'm saying? And like, just to like even give more praise, I'm thankful enough that, you know, you gave me the opportunity to be in this light and to say these type of things to these type of people, because normally we don't get to say these type of things and we get shut down for saying these type of things. And
which is
like
the
I
truth.
said,
but it's my pleasure to have you on my platform. It's actually my honor. You my second guest on Split Decision so far. It's been a year since my return because I was in college and so on and so forth. So I'm back on YouTube, and you know I'm back harder than ever. And I know the old media and the decafs hate it because they hate the truth. But again, like I said, I'm gonna have you again on Split Decision. Like I said, you and Akhi are mine. You gave me an opportunity, and I appreciate it. And we definitely going to work in the future. And when you have upcoming fights, I'm definitely promoting your fights. And you're going to be on a guest. You're going to be a guest on Split Decision on more than one occasion. So I appreciate you giving me the time out of your day. And you already know the difficulties we were facing. You know, we was facing all type of obstacles, but you stayed in there with me when I was having my baby, when I had my daughter. You still was there for me. You still was waiting on me. And I appreciate all that, man. Like I said, that's one thing I never forget is a favor.
All love, brother. I appreciate the same thing. And your media show is about to take over with the truth, man. Everybody needs to know the truth about what's going on in all situations, sports, boxing. And you touch on almost every subject known to man. I just never heard somebody just display it the way you have. And you know, you're saying people don't even know that you had a kid. You had a kid, you know what I'm saying? You're still trying to, like, man, hey, like, kid about to be delivered, but I'm going live right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, you're doing multiple things at once, you know what I'm saying? As a brother to just stray out and do these type of things, you know, all praises, you know what I'm saying? All blessings, all love, man. You got my back forever, man.
And I want to say, you know, follow Nicholas Asberry, heavyweight future world champion, inshallah. Follow him on his Instagram. I'm gonna provide all the links for all Nicholas Asberry, social media accounts in the description box, in the comment section. So follow my man, support him, support the truth. Like I said, they want to sell us a bag of rice, and they want to add in steroids to it, and want to claim that when we got the goods right in front of our faces. But again, they want corners to come on top just because they got the complexion for the protection. However, like I said, we all came from Adam and Eve. So we all brothers and sisters at the end of the day. So, you know, at the end of the day, I want to mention this last point, that the racist was the devil was the first racist. So don't be the devil. Racism is a devil trait. 100. So any last comments, Nicholas Asberry? Obviously, Nicholas Asberry is a top prospect in the heavyweight division. So any last comments you want to tell the people and the Split Decision viewers and all your fans?
Oh, I'm on my way, man. I've been training every single day. And if you follow me on social media, you'll get to see me train every single day. I mean, every single day, not like your fighter, not like your favorite fighter that goes. I train every single day, nonstop. And I'm like about boxing about 24/7. And so I'm on my way. I'm going to make breakthroughs in boxing. I had 2015 I was prospect of the year. I'm going to crack through the ceiling again once I get this show on the road, and it's about to be flattened. I'm flattening out everything in front of my way, man. And I thank you for everybody that's been coming out and saying stuff and just keeping it real in the public too. And I give credit to the brave people that speak up against things that they see are unwrong and unjust. You know, and it's hard to do that, especially in times of day where you get scrutinized for talking the truth. And, you know, I just give thanks to it, and I give thanks to like people from this channel. You know what I'm saying? Just think about the different things that have come about, people just telling the truth, and the type of ears that it could touch, and the type of people that it can motivate to do something and want to be truthful and just move freely throughout the world with their heart first, instead of thinking and judging with their mind. You know, and that's where we're all here created equal. I don't think I'm better than the next man standing next to me. The only thing that separates
I want the next man to be treated just like I want to be treated. You know, I don't want to see my brother get mistreated just because he a different skin color. Like you know, the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said that, you know, we are in the end of times right now. See, at the end of times, the truth will no longer be popular. The lie will be popular, and the truth will no longer be popular. And we see in that day to day. He said that was the end of times, and we kind of seeing it right in front of our eyes. May Allah be with us. And you know, I appreciate you, Nicholas Asberry, giving me your time of your day. And you definitely gonna be on Split Decision again, and we definitely gonna work in the future.
All love, brother. I'll catch you.
All right, thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. That was
All right.
Nicholas Asberry, a future world champion. Peace, my brother. A future world champion, inshallah. And for RJ, he said, watch out for Tyson Fury and the mob boss. I'm going to tell you one thing, my brother. When you have Allah in your corner, you don't need anything else. Muhammad Ali said, I don't have bodyguards because angels are my bodyguards. I speak the truth every time I walk. I don't fear anything because I speak the truth. See, if I tell a lie, I'd be worried. I ain't gonna lie to you. But when you speak the truth every time you on the mic, you don't got to worry about no Tyson Fury or all the mob bosses that he knows, because you know the Most High, the forever living, is with you. He's in your corner. So with that being stated, I appreciate all the viewers. I appreciate RJ, all my brothers, OG Swag, and everybody in the comment section. I missed if I missed a super chat, I will definitely talk about it tomorrow. I think Joe Sir, he put a super chat too. So I appreciate you, Akhi. I definitely will actually try to reach out to you and have you call in this week. I'm gonna have another episode on Split Decision this week to make up for the call-ins, because I want to give Nicholas Asberry all the time on Split Decision, because we have so much to talk about and so much to expose. I really appreciate Nicholas Asberry giving me the time of the day. And like I always say, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't. And listen to these decasts, the dumb casual ass fans / old media that don't know ish about boxing. Word to Roger Mayweather, may he rest in peace, inshallah. Click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live on Split Decision. It's a boxing debate / talk show, mixed, master engineered by yours truly, Akhi, the past, present, and future undisputed. When the truth is spoken, the other side is nothing but a lie. So it's always easy work when it comes to Akhi. These decafs / trolls / coons / you name it, even the decafs wizards themselves, they are afraid to call in because they got no cojones to debate the truth. That's their kryptonite. So with that being stated, like I said, I appreciate everybody in the chat. Hassan and everybody. OJ, that's my Akhi all day. Like I said, I'm going to have all my Akhis calling in, I believe, next Thursday. That's when I'm going to have Split Decision episode 49 to make up for not having call-ins this episode. Then next week, I must announce this. Next week, Split Decision is going to be hosted every Sunday around 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then on Wednesday, inshallah, I'm going to have Boxing Hood. It's a show with my own Akhi, my own broski. They call him my twin. They call him a shooting star because obviously he loves basketball. He's good at it. So I'm going to have him as a guest on Split Decision, on Boxing Hood. He's going to be the special guest. And I'm going to actually switch the guest up every now and then. But my point is, there's going to be the guest every or most of the shows. So stay tuned. I'm going to have more time slots for my Akhis to call in. I promised all of my Akhis that when I do hit 30K, I'm going to have everything set up, which I'm nearly hitting 30K. And I have all my promises arranged in order. So all my promises will be fulfilled. I've been back 1 year officially on YouTube reporting boxing. So I'm going to continue, and I actually got more channels coming, more things coming, more great things to come on Akhi TV, on my other channel, Akhi. And that being said, we might even have Deontay Wilder on Split Decision. You know, Deontay Wilder still wanted, and we still want him to this day on Split Decision. Obviously, hopefully, inshallah, Deontay Wilder is going to show us love in the future, in the near future, when he's allowed to speak on certain matters, because he has the best manager in the game, the best advisor in the game, Al Heyman, the man that's running the sport of boxing. the genius and the entrepreneur behind PBC. So it's a lot of great things to come. I'm gonna try to get a lot of different fighters on Split Decision as guests, from Errol Spence to Terrence Crawford to Tyson Fury, Shakur, the future of boxing. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say Tyson Fury. I meant to say Deontay Wilder, the truth, because I don't care. I have Tyson Fury on Split Decision, but he don't got the cojones to come on Split Decision because he don't want to hear the truth. I exposed Tyson Fury by telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. As you all seen, I always put the truth together like puzzle. The decafs, they shook. They're scared to look every time Akhi's on TV because it's always bad news for the decafs. They are allergic to the truth, though, even though it hurt their ears. They try to act like they don't speak any English every time they hear the truth. They act like Stevie Wonder every time they see the truth. But regardless of any of that, people lie, women lie. However, your eyes don't lie. So I know even the decafs know the truth deep inside. That's why they watch every single video of mine. But I more so appreciate all of my Akhis because, see, the decafs and the hate, it don't bother me. I'm amused by hate. It amuses me. But at the same time, I got a special place for Akhis. We don't debate boxing. We talk boxing. Because when you speak the truth, it's all the same. But when you a decaf and you want to debate boxing, it won't be a split decision. It's going to be a KO. And anybody can get it. Anybody can get it on Split Decision. Call me the can, man.
Anybody can get it.
Whoever you is. If you got cojones, call in if you want to debate boxing. You know what I mean? So to all the decafs that don't know it's about boxing.
You
quit
better not
fucking
duck me, son.
Grow the cojones and call in
me,
on Thursday. If you disagree with anything I said, call in next Thursday. I appreciate all my Akhis. Subscribe below. Click on the notification bell. And we out here to be continued on the next episode of Split Decision.